I mean, I can hear you. Nicely
Okay, now
done.
people can hear me. The first thing in the podcast is just me screaming.
Oof.
I like how Jimothy is like half off the screen. you keep changing seating positions, so I had you when you were leaned back in your chair. There you go.
I can lean.
I can adjust. I can adjust. We're gonna fuck it. We're doing it live. I've adjusted. Oh, if anybody ever just listens to this, I feel bad for them.
That's our first world problems right there.
I know. I have to edit Jimothy on the go. Oh, that should be like your vlog channel if you ever make one. Jimothy on the go.
Jimmy on the go.
Or if you work at On the Go, there you go. Okay.
Oh, that's a company?
It is. Yeah, yeah. It used to be
God
it used to
damn.
be Max in Canada. But then they like changed their name to On the Go or On the Run or some shit, and everything went downhill.
I forgot you were Canadian. I don't know why. I thought you were from like Michigan or
It's because I'm
something.
an asshole. You never attribute
Yeah,
assholes to
dude.
Canada. Anytime you think of Canada, you think of 6 feet of snow, 3 white dudes living in the snow, no electricity, maple syrup, hockey sticks, missing teeth, and politeness. That's all
Oh,
you get.
And
and
hockey.
meese and gooses.
Oh,
Those are my favorites.
Mises, Mies
Yes,
gooses.
meese.
We call them. We call them dinner. I've
Mm.
eaten a goose recently. They were very fat. It gave me very violent diarrhea.
They. You can't project human emotions on these things. You have to call them it. Okay.
Well, no, I mean, it's close enough. I don't know what it identifies as other than
If I'm,
goose.
I don't. I don't need to be afraid to misgender the food that I am eating.
Oh, okay. Speaking of misgendering, I learned something very new recently. And it's kind of funny because now that I know it, it's like, oh, this makes so much more sense now. So, I've found that you know how a lot of the times definitions for things change and then they just become common knowledge like gender, everybody assumed that means what you've got in your pants.
Yeah.
So, I now looked into it a little bit further. I don't know why today I chose to do this, but I fuck it, I did. I read into it, and it turns out that gender is all mental. But here's a big but, and it's mine. Um, Sex is what is determined in your pants. So if you were to walk up to somebody who is transgendered, and you were to ask them what is your sex, then they could say like they're either male or female, like without
Mm-hmm.
identifying as it. So if I walked up to somebody who specifically goes I am a she or they or something like that, right? Something that they weren't essentially born as but then transitioned into, if I were to go up to them and say, "What is your sex?" that's different than me saying, "What is your gender?" In fact, saying, "What is your sex?" would require them to tell me, like, "Oh, I've got a penis," essentially. Whereas gender's all in the in the mind, and it's a construct of the mind. Sex is what your reproductive organs are. So that's kind of why I find it funny that everybody's still all up in arms about whole like being against the whole gender thing. Like for me, I just don't care. I just want to have a way of being able to know what's in somebody's pants if I'm about to go out with them without like them being all defensive and weird about it. I don't want to be able to like I don't want to go up to somebody I think is going to have a vagina and then all of a sudden I take them home and I'm like, "Oh, that's bigger than mine." Like I don't want to have that surprise. So, having a way to be able to actually ask somebody what's in between their legs is kind of eye-opening to me because I always thought that's what gender was. Like you go up to somebody, it's like, oh, I'm a guy, but in reality, they could be a guy and just have a vagina, or they could have nothing. I don't know how they'd end up with nothing, but maybe they're the world's first Ken doll. I don't know, but yeah, I just found it
Maybe
very
they
interesting.
send it off.
Maybe they got bored of just being associated with humans. I will become a Ken doll.
I hate to brag, but I've had
Oh,
to
hey,
become a little bit of
Clownvision.
an expert in this field, what with living in California and all.
Oh, dude,
And
I live in
you know,
Vancouver.
I live
I've
in
never
the
been to
lonely
Vancouver,
state
dude.
of Iowa. Nobody knows about because it's not popular.
What's in Vancouver? Like, what are you guys known for?
So we're known for being mostly Asian. Um, like the population in Vancouver is mostly East Indian and Asian, so we got amazing food and really spicy food. So we're really well known for that part of things. And then I think we're known for our like lush landscapes that are just outside of Vancouver. So like there's trees and everything. Like we're known because we're a big YVR terminal, but we're not like known for anything in particular. We're known for the things around us, like Whistler, for being the biggest ski resort, or I think one of the biggest ski resorts in Canada. It's like an hour away, and then we're known for all of our forestries, our lakes. I think that's about it, really.
Oh,
Our hockey team.
Didn't at one time you say that there was like a mountain outside your window or something?
Yeah, so where I live,
It just crept up on you.
where I live, it's like a weird in between for Vancouver, but I call it like Vancouver because I'm close enough to it. It's like the greater Vancouver area where there's like 8 cities that are actually in that area, but everybody just calls it Vancouver. It's essentially how we work here. I know, confusing and weird. That's Canada for you. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we
basically
like
it.
Australia and Canada seem to be like just completely spread out, just little cities kind of dotting specific spots. Whereas here in the US, it's just like, hey, go just about anywhere. You got a city as long as you're along the edge somewhere.
That's
It's pretty
true.
epic, actually.
So, out of curiosity, because you're both American, how many big Canadian cities can you name? And you two can work together. I'm kind of curious about this.
Okay,
Oh, no.
I know Toronto,
Yep.
and you helped me cheat, so now I know Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I
Well,
know.
Remember, there are 8 cities inside of Vancouver.
Saskatchewan?
Oh, okay. There you go.
Is that one?
That is one.
It's just,
Well, Saskatchewan's a
Saskatchewan was a
province, but
province. Yes.
I'll count it. I'll count it because,
This is all very confusing.
I was
in fairness,
just
that's
think-
already more than I thought you would get about Canada.
Hey, okay.
But there is one
Hey.
that rhymes with vagina.
Do I want to know it?
Oh, it's just called Regina.
Is it
that,
cool?
that's what's
Oh.
that's what's in Saskatchewan.
So that you have cities inside. Well, I kind of have that here in California. It's all
Yeah.
just kind of like one big cityscape, and it's just like, just cut this out, and this can be San Jose, and then San Francisco's kind of over there, and between there, it's just houses.
That's what I found so
So-
funny about being a Canadian and looking at like American politics from a distance. Like I hear about these places and I'm like, I associate this with this, but is this? So like for example, California, right? Like they'll be like San Francisco or like Hollywood, or not Hollywood, but they'll be like San Francisco, San Diego, all those like other parts of California. But my brain instantly thinks, oh, that's a different state. And I'm like, wait a minute, no, it's not. What the fuck am I talking about? California isn't just Hollywood. What's wrong with me? It's not Los
Yeah.
Angeles. But then, like, for me, even though that place is so large on the map, I just assumed it's just called California and everything inside of it was called Los Angeles because I'm fucking retarded.
Oh man, there's a city that I'm trying to think of that another streamer that I watch like more like midday.
Mhm.
He lives in Canada as well. Oh, Calgary.
Calgary, yep, that's 4,
Yeah.
okay. I did mention
Isn't
another
that
one that you
England?
haven't mentioned. What? Huh?
I thought
Calgary?
Calgary was in England.
Okay, the amount of names that get reused everywhere is just insane to me. Like in Williams Lake, this is a cheat. That's another town that I used to live in. There was this area called Garibaldi, right? So it was just the little, I guess, little neighborhood called Garibaldi. And when I moved back down from there to where I am now, there's not only 3 neighborhoods called Garibaldi, there's also 7 neighborhoods in Vancouver called Garibaldi. There's entire complexes named Garibaldi. And I found out there's a bunch of places in Europe with the name Garibaldi. And I'm like, can't people just fucking, make up some real places? Like, so we don't have 1,800 places with the name Garibaldi in it?
I don't know of one named Garibaldi.
Maybe it's a
thought that was
Canadian and European
Italian.
thing. Could be. This is when it translates to fat bald man, and I'm just like, God damn it. Okay, so you guys are at 4 Canadian cities. Wait, Clown Division says who is... Nope, you're not getting me. Nope, not happening. I'm not losing this fight. Nope.
I'd rather discuss Candace, honestly.
Candace, I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're trying to do, and I don't appreciate it.
I don't know if you do.
I don't appreciate it. I hope they're washed.
It gets rid of the flavor.
Oh, yes, the vinegary flavor. I can taste your last gym session. Oh, gross.
Speaking of gyms, dude, I'm trying to work out more. But it's
Same.
hard. We should be workout buddies. I Maximum Underdrive. Those guys, they've got me doing like 1 exercise a day. And it is hard. I
Wait, one
realized
exercise
working
a
out.
day?
And which
Yeah.
Oh,
which
shit.
exercise is that?
I did curls.
Ah,
Oh.
nice. Are you trying? You're just
Yesterday.
trying to build muscle, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, what else? I don't care
So
how like I'm not gonna have to lift a building or something.
Fair,
No one's
fair.
gonna look at me and be like,
Save
You're
my baby
actually-
trapped under this
"You're
building.
a poser" or something. But
How
I don't
tall
know.
are
I
you?
just I am 6'3". I'm
Oh,
a
okay.
big boy.
Yeah,
so
you're tall like
it's,
me.
It's
I'm
not
a
easy
short
to build a
girl.
lot of muscle.
I'm like
Speak for
5'2".
yourself. It's like the only thing I can do really easily.
It's all stretched and diluted, man.
What are you talking about? I'm 6'4".
Well, not. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're stocky.
I
You're
know.
built.
That's why I'm doing all the weightlifting that I'm doing now, because then it'll translate into muscle real quick. So,
Someday,
Yeah.
when you get super jacked, you gotta just shave your head, shave your beard. Eyebrows are optional, and you
okay.
gotta be like the thumb guy
Oh.
who just wanders into bars and like scares people. He
I
looks
was
like
thinking-
the Juggernaut.
I was thinking Mr. Clean.
Him too.
Especially
Or
with COVID,
Howie
right?
Mandel.
Like, how
Yeah.
quickly would Mr. Clean get laid in a COVID outbreak? Pretty quick. Because, as soon as he gets into that room, he's spraying everything down.
Well, they never think about the 0.1% of germs. That's the one that gets you.
Yup. Yeah, that's true. I'm just trying to think, like, what are the other 99.9% of germs we killing? What are they? Just the good germs? Are they the ones that we use for yogurt? Like,
Yeah. I
why
wanna
do we
imagine.
why do we leave that one germ behind?
Send a message. It's gotta tell the other germs.
It's just so poor people have a reason to die.
All the other
Oh no.
to tell all the other germs, hey, if you come here, you will guaranteed die.
They're
Unless
passing
you're
on their
the
story.
one in on. You could be the one in 1,000, but you don't want to roll that 1,000-sided die.
That's true. I mean, we were the fastest swimmers, so I wouldn't want to test that luck again.
That is true. I mean, I wouldn't bet on myself
No,
to win
me
again.
neither. Not now, anyway.
I probably cheated, honestly.
You just
I
like
probably set up a little
got a
tripwire and all
little
the other
gun,
ones.
executing them as they
Shit's
get
over.
in front of you. Get close enough behind you, snap his neck. Oh man, I would love to see like Rambo Sperminator or whatever. That would be a movie. That's how they
Ooh.
should
That would
teach
be
sex
great.
ed to kids. I would be down to watch Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone dress up as gigantic sperm cells and just execute
Oh, yes.
thousands upon thousands of their brethren to become the first in the egg. And then it becomes an all-out
Maybe a John Wick
deathmatch.
movie.
John Dick. Oh my god. That's perfect. I love it. It's so good. Okay, so Sarah was going to bring up Castlevania, and we were going to test your weeb levels. So before we
Yes.
get
Oh,
into
right.
Castlevania, have you watched anime?
I watched one, and I didn't finish it. It was Food Wars. And
Oh.
I kind of got bored of it.
And
Because it
well,
was like between the sub and dub. So I the only way I could find it illegally online, was like the first 3 seasons subbed, and I was just reading it. I had to sit down and basically just read an entire anime, or dubbed, subbed. Yeah, I watched it subbed, and then I found a version that was dubbed, and I was like, okay, this is weird. I liked it more before, but I just kind of got bored. I was like, I don't want to keep reading this, and I just never got back to it. I
Damn.
did watch. I don't know if it counts. This YouTube series. There's one about vampires that kill each other, and there's one that's like kind of sassy.
I think this is more up Sarah's alley than mine.
Have you seen that one? It's like
Helsing?
Helsing.
Helsing
Yes.
Ultimate Abridged.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yes,
yes.
that's the one.
Okay.
And that was
I'm the
freaking
Crimson
hilarious.
Fucker. Yes, I remember that. That's better than the original anime.
I pray every day that someday maybe I could have a fleeting thought of something as good as that. That was delightful.
Oh man, that
aside from
thing
that-
really tickled my asshole with how good that show was.
I'm a bit scared because I've seen some people who are just ravaged by anime.
Ooh,
Just
you're talking to
just their whole personalities
yeah.
replaced, and I'm like, oh, you poor boy.
one.
But you know what they say? No one's immune to propaganda.
I feel
I don't wanna-
attacked.
I don't want to
feel-
be that.
I feel personally assaulted by that.
At the risk of offending others, I'm scared. I'm too afraid to start because I don't know. I have a history of addiction in my family, and
Ah,
it doesn't take much to buy a jar and an anime figurine, and I'm no better than the rest. You know.
it's true. That is true. I mean, in the last, I think it's been 8 years now, I've watched over 500,000 minutes of anime. So.
Is there even that much time in that many years?
No, a lot of the times if it's subbed, I'll watch 6 of them at the same time, and I'll
Oh,
just
Christ.
I'll read it really quickly. It's
You
strange.
just watch the highlight reel.
No, I'm somehow I got so addicted to anime, I just developed a speed reading addiction. So I was able to read everything super quick. I don't think I enjoyed the animes as much as I would have if I took my time with them. But I was just sitting there just like, titties! I mean, plot! I need plot!
Yeah,
I need
you
that
can always
anime
watch
plot.
the ones. You can always watch like the other kind of Japanese cartoons. I've known people to enjoy those as well.
Well,
Yeah.
I there was one time where I watched a Jacksepticeye video and he was talking about he finally got into watching Naruto, and then he said that Sakura was like the weakest to worst character in the anime, and like his comments and stuff blew up. Like there were people out there like, no, she's not. She's the best character and all that kinds of stuff, and it's like, oh, whoa,
Anime
I-
stands are pretty brutal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can be like that with some shows in anime, but it's like not that severe.
Anime stands can give Korean, like K-pop stands, a run for their money any day.
I disagree. You don't know the K-pop stand that I know. Okay.
Oh yeah, but I would just I'd just be like, fuck you, come at me, you Korean pop loving
I would-
stan.
I would
don't give a
pay
shit.
to put them in a cage and watch them fight each other.
I'll fight 'em.
Like
Oh,
I'd pay to watch that too.
I'll fight Jake Paul and a Korean pop stand. Stan? I said stand. Stan. A K-pop stand. I'll fight both of them at the same time. And you know what? Throw his his brother could be ringside so he can film his brother's corpse when I'm done with him.
hey,
Could be an
if they can
homage to
bust
his
out the claws,
Come in
I
as
would totally
dessert.
watch them.
Oh man.
I could totally watch them if they bust out the claws.
Oh
That's-
yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, you've watched one anime, and for some reason it ended up being like the most horny food show it could have possibly been.
It was pretty damn good.
It's good,
I
but-
liked it.
but I
It's
I like
can't
how your
complain.
introduction to anime was the horny food one, where if
as
you eat a
opposed to
meal.
what? The horny fighting one?
No, Attack on Titan, my dude. Nobody's jacking off to Attack on Titan, and if you are, you have a lot of issues. I mean,
Anime
Rule
stands.
34 is different. Rule 34 is different. If you're actually watching the anime and you're just like, oh yeah, I love what's happening to these people. I love their tortured lifestyle. And you're just like cranking one out like your Dark Side Phil for getting the cameras on. Then you've got issues.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you're an anime stan or whatever. If you're that fucked in the head, I'm not standing by you. You get in the ring. You're number 3 I'm fighting in there. Yeah, fucking weirdos. I bet they're probably also the same people that would take two pieces of plywood and staple their balls in between it. Have you seen that fetish? That is such
I'm
a
not interested
weird
in seeing
fetish.
that.
I wish I
Sorry.
never saw it, but
Is
essentially,
there a subreddit or something
yeah.
for that? Maybe several.
There could be. It's essentially this dude takes two pieces of plywood, drills a hole in one of them, sticks his balls through the hole, takes the other piece of plywood, smushes it down over his balls, and drills it in place so that his balls can't move. And the plywood's flat, so I'm thinking, did this dude literally just explode his nuts for Reddit karma? And then I'm thinking it is Reddit, so I mean, there's a huge possibility that that is the case.
Anything for a handful of karma.
I've seen somebody put a jar in their ass and it fucking broke and he started bleeding everywhere. And here's the worst part that nobody tells you about that fucking video. His kid was literally right in the room next to him in his fucking high chair. So his baby is sitting there as he's picking shards of glass out of his extremely bloody asshole. And I'm just sitting there going, what the fuck?
What were you sitting there doing?
I was like, ugh. I was like vomiting
Oh, okay.
because it was just so much blood. It was a visceral experience. And you were talking about being worried about your browser history. See, Daz, this is why I'm worried about my browser history. My
I'm
browser
scared
history
of your
is
browser
fucked.
history.
Oh, I don't use incognito mode. If the government's gonna come after me, come after me. I don't give a fuck. I'll sit there in the courtroom and I'll be like, yeah, I did look up Lolita porn. What, you got a problem with that, buddy? You got a problem with that?
Just tell him I looked up instructions on how to build a bomb somewhere in this horrible search history. Whatever agent you want to sacrifice to go find it. Try me.
I left a bomb somewhere in this building, and the only instructions for dismantling it are hidden somewhere in these pornos.
Hey, there have been multiple times where my high school has gone under lockdown because somebody threatened that there was a bomb.
Okay, so speaking of that, what's the deal with America and school shootings and school disasters? As an
I don't
outsider
know.
looking in, we might get one school shooting a year, and I'm just sitting there going, "Oh, how many people got shot?" And then they're on the news. They're like, "Oh, it broke a window and nobody was hurt." And it's like, "Oh, how Canadian of the bullet."
How courteous.
How nice of it to just leave. But like in America, it's like every day there's like 1.5 school shootings. I like there's a half of a school shooting, but like the statistics are like 1.5 school shootings a day. And I'm like, what the hell is happening in these high schools? Like, how many people from Reddit are going to schools and shooting them up? I don't understand it. Because there's no way.
Reddit specifically.
It has to be. There's no way it's just some kid is playing YouTube videos and then some kid comes in and gives him a wedgie and bullies him a little bit. And then all of a sudden he gets his father's Glock that he drunkenly took out of the safe and tried to hit his mother with. And then he took it to school and tried to shoot it up. I don't see that being the case. Because that's too many women getting hit by their drunken husbands. But then again, Pabst Blue Ribbon does make a lot of sales every year. So maybe it is the case. Maybe it is. Maybe
Yeah.
gun-toting wife beaters are the reason school shootings happen.
Well, most of those people are probably like those either kids or teens that go in and play COD and think that they're real or that it's real, or that they've been bullied so much to the point where they gotta take it out on everyone.
See, that's more likely. I don't think there's ever been a 14-year-old that's playing Call of Duty and being like, this would be really fun if I could do this at school. I don't think they've ever thought that. I think most of those teenagers that are playing Call of Duty have smoked 3 joints that day, masturbated twice, stole one of their dad's beers, and is trying to hit on a woman that wants nothing to do with them. That's what is happening with teenagers in Call of Duty. But the ones that are getting bullied to the point where they just decide to quietly shoot up the school, I'm going to tell this as somebody who's been suicidal and who's tried to kill themselves because of bullying. I never once thought, man, I should shoot up a school. So there's clearly something else going on.
Well,
It's got to be a chemical imbalance. It's got to be undiagnosed mental health issues. I don't live in America, but from what I've
It's
heard,
in the McDonald's. It's in the
It's in the
McDonald's. They're putting it in the
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
it's that Big Mac sauce gives you that big Glock sauce.
well, the funny thing is that like when
Beer.
my dad got let go from his job at like a local place called CDS, everyone there knew that he's a gun owner. And they all thought, oh no, or they kind of like thought, oh no, is he gonna shoot the place up? Or like, is he, or like, they even asked him, hey, are you gonna shoot the place up? And he's like, no, I would never do that.
Oh, going postal. Yes. I remember that. That's
Or
a
going
term for it here,
pharmaceutical,
too.
I guess, is
That's what Walter
in
White
this
did.
situation.
And it's like some of the people out there, it's like, it's not like some of these it's not every gun owner that you have to worry about. Some of these gun owners are just there for, or have them for like protection, sport, because that's what my dad has. He does it for sport.
Mhm.
He shoots trap.
Right.
And and like and he's never once said that his gun has walked out and shot someone without him.
I feel like
well-
I've heard somebody use that excuse. I don't know, officer. It must have just gotten up and gotten away from me. I swear, I don't
Yeah.
know what you're talking about.
There it is. There's the gun that kills people.
Hard cut to the actual gun getting up and running away, and everybody just panics. Oh my god, he
It's
was
like-
right!
But like my dad, he goes in and he's like, you like they used to teach like gun safety in schools. Now they don't. And it's like people, or he goes in and says like, you shouldn't be afraid of the guns. You should be afraid of the people wielding the guns.
True. And I've learned that you should be more afraid of the person who's jittery holding the gun than the gangster who's trying to rob you. Because the one who's like shaking their hand like this will accidentally pull the trigger, whereas the guy who's robbing you just wants your money.
Well, there's so many stories of like people just like randomly shooting their self in the legs.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like-
see, that's a weird one for me, too. Like, why do people keep accidentally shooting themselves?
Like we went to a gun show there like in Davenport once, and I think it was like it was after, may have been like after we left, or a day or two, or a day ago from when we went. Like they don't allow like armed guns, so the dude took the ammo out, and then when he left, he put it back in, or the rounds back in, and then something happened, and he ended up shooting himself in the foot. And
Jesus.
it's like, oh my god,
What the
how's
fuck?
that possible? Yeah.
See, this is funny to me because, like, I'm going to tell a story I've never told on the years that I've done content creation. So this is an exclusive to the Cunt podcast. Exclusive. Okay,
Did you
so,
just call it that?
well, I mean, it
That's
is.
just what it's called.
It's just called the Cuntcast. But in reality, if Twitch is listening, it can't understand normal thinking.
Natural.
Yeah, it's an abbreviation. That's why there's periods in between it, and I made the periods red because yes, it is a period joke. Anyway,
Oh,
I was hoping someday somebody would realize it, but I figured, fuck it, I'll spoil the surprise. So that's the reason why cunt is red. But yeah, so this is back when I was, I think it was either 14 or 15. It was before I moved away from Vancouver up to Williams Lake. And I was I was at this place called Kingsway in Vancouver. It's not the nicest area. Like, if you were to compare it to anything, it'd probably be like Skid Row. Like, you there's like a 50-50 shot you're gonna get stabbed, because like in Canada we don't really have like super readily accessible guns. So I remember sitting at this bus stop, and it was after midnight. I'd say between midnight and 1, and we were waiting for the last bus to like show up and go away so we could go home. And while we were sitting there, this weird little crackhead, like little skinny dude, kind of looked like a Jesse Pinkman if Jesse Pinkman was like head to toe with all like rashes and ulcers all over his body. And he comes up to me and my cousin, and he's holding a little dirty syringe, right? And he's just like, "I'm HIV positive, bitch. Give me some money." So, of course, I just like I looked at my cousin, and my cousin just like gave me the little, just don't do anything look, right? And I was trying so hard not to laugh, because I'm just like, this dude's threatening me with AIDS. I've never been threatened with AIDS before. Like, who threatens with AIDS? So when the bus was like just about to like pull up, the guy was like still holding the dirty needle. So what I did was I pushed him in front of the bus, and the bus hit him. And
did he stab himself with the syringe?
No, but he was so high, he just jumped up and skittered away like he was a mouse out of a dumpster. And he like hopped over a fence and just disappeared. And I was like, I almost murdered a man. I almost killed him. But I knew it wouldn't kill him, because the bus was like already going so slow from stopping. So if anything, it would just knock him over and give us time to get on the bus. So it's not like the bus was going 50 miles per hour. And I'm just like, let's see what tomato paste he'll turn into today. So he just like, he got lightly tapped by it, fell onto his little face. You couldn't tell if he had any other injuries, because let's face it, he was already covered head to toe in ulcers and rashes and shit. So when he got up, it like, you remember, oh, what's his name? Dave Chappelle's crackhead character? Yeah, it was kind of like watching him get up and then like run away. Like, you know how his character got decapitated one time and he's just holding his own head? It was kind of like that. That's how it felt. Because he just got up and on instinct was running away. And I remember that to this day, being like, man, it must suck to live in America where guns are readily available at all times. Like, here I got threatened with a dirty needle, but if he held a gun, I probably would have been a lot more scared.
Well, the funny part is that now they're making it so you don't need like a permit to buy. Like, they're trying to make that clear, but you still have to do the background checks, which is pretty good. But like that means that you don't have to do like the classes that they make you do to be able to get the permit for like gun safety and stuff like that.
That's actually one thing I forgot to mention I do have. I actually have a license to carry weapons. So that I
Is it
found
like
hilarious.
a CCW or
What, like a concealed carry? No.
Concealed carry.
No, not concealed. They wouldn't trust me with that.
I have to show it to everyone. I must brandish it.
I have to hold it out in public and shake it. Look, I have a gun. It's like being on the sex offender registry. Whenever you get into a neighborhood, I touched a kid.
I will reoffend. Step away.
If you have anybody under the age of 18 living in your household, just remember, I'll be trick-or-treating this year. Everybody's just like, oh, we got EDP moving in. But no, I ended up getting my license to carry pistols, and I can own shotguns, which I like to call the Chris Cannon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good name, solid name, especially if I'm carrying it. If you're carrying it, it's a little bit weird that you're calling it the Chris Cannon. But yeah, no, I got my license for that, and I was actually very disappointed on how easy it was to get it, because all I had to do was answer 10 multiple choice questions and pay a fee. And I was like, if this is how we do it in Canada, how much easier is it in America? Because I didn't know anything that I put down.
Well, it's
I
not.
think it depends.
Like, yeah. Like,
Is that
Some
truth? Like, did you guys read what Field of Dew just put in? Texas is
yeah.
crazy
Yeah, I just
because you
saw
can make
that.
your own gun. How do you make your own gun without blowing your own hand off?
I
And
think
you
he's
don't have
talking
to
about like
register it.
ghost guns, where you can like take
Oh,
bits of other guns and just slap them all together and make your own gun. But I think that the receiver, there's like the main part. Like I think it's called the receiver. You've got to have serial. I don't know. I don't want to make a fool of myself, but I think that's got to be.
you know more about the
That's like
gun
the
so far
important
than
bit.
I do. I just know that when I pull trigger, it go boom.
It removes everything in that direction.
Well, I mean, it depends on the gun. I like to go to gun ranges for my birthday. It's the most like American thing you can do in Canada is you just get a 6-pack of beer and you tell the instructor that you're sober. And then they just take you through. They take you through to the gun range where you can just like let off your guns. It's kind of like going to a driving range with like golf, but instead of the driving range, it's the shooting range. So I think last year, me and a couple, well, it was a little bit tougher with COVID, but we still managed to find one that was an outdoor shooting range. So me and a group of friends ended up getting, I think we got like 3 suitcases of beer between 4 of us. So we each had about 10 beers, and we stumbled into this gun range place, and they were like, "Can you show us your IDs and all that?" So we did, and they kind of just looked at me and they were like, "Are you sober?" And I was like, yeah, yeah. You how? What? You don't question me. My
You're just
eyes.
hanging onto like the table for dear life.
Well, I kind of
Stumble
was
over.
because I smoked a bit of weed just before that too. So I was like, my eyes were as red as the devil's dick. I had like the smell of vodka and beer all over me. Because the worst part is I didn't even drink the vodka. One of my friends spilt the vodka on my shoes. So of course he's gonna ask me if I'm fucking drunk. But like I was okay. Knowing me, I was fine because I'm a big boy. I'm 6'4", I'm 300 pounds. If 10 beers puts me on my ass, you might as well just kill me now. I've got 10 beers next to me, and I plan on drinking them before this podcast is done.
I'm scared to drink, man.
Why?
Like, well, aside from the fact that I can't do it legally,
Well, I mean,
I'm still scared of it. Cause like, I don't know how many beers does it take to fry a liver?
a
I
lot.
don't know.
I've drank
A lot?
thousands. Like this
Mm.
year alone, like just from January till now, I've already drank over 200 beers. And that's not including my hard liquor, my weed, and all the other shit I probably do.
Probably not like you'd
I
know.
alleged.
I'm not a big drinker. Like it's just like the alcohol aftertaste that I don't really like, but I like the wines more because it's kind of like harder to actually taste that. And like I'm so yeah, that's kind of what I like when it comes to drinking. Like there's people that like vodka and other stuff, but like I still have like room to grow my taste buds too. But like what I've had, which isn't much, I do like uh the wines.
Yeah, wine's good. Dazzle makes a
I
good
feel
point. You would have to drink daily, not casually. But
Mm-hmm.
that is me. I do. So,
you drink professional.
yeah.
But
That's
This
for the
is not a
stream. I write.
game.
I'm gonna say this outright. I do write off my alcohol purchases for business. Because most of the time I'm drinking, it's on stream, so it technically is a business expense.
but like it doesn't really help when my dad is kind of allergic to alcohol, so
Ah,
yeah.
that's not fun.
Yeah.
But I could give you, since you're a 19-year-old spry young man, you'll have 2 years to prepare for when you can purchase alcohol of your own volition. It takes time, like for alcohol to sit in your system. So if you're going to want to drink a lot in a day, make sure you eat first without drinking, and then just feel free to go ham. Just drink water in between. So
There's a
every
strat. There's a meta.
there's actually a meta. This is why I've never had hangovers. I've actually only had 2 hangovers in my lifetime, and I've been drinking since I was 16.
Damn. Okay.
So
Very.
take this as you will, but every 2 shots have a cup of water. Not like a full glass, like a half-liter glass, but like 1 cup, 250 milliliters of water. Or the equivalent of 2 shot glasses worth of water.
Did you just say milliliters?
Yes, we use
Filthy
the metric
Canadian,
system.
get outta here.
You're the only ones that use the imperial system, you fucking Darth Vader wannabes.
It's a cup. It's a cup. How hard can it be? It's a cup.
Well, no, I use both, but I'm just saying, like, for those who don't know what a cup is, 250 milliliters. So, greasy by nature, gamer by choice, my karma to you, dude. You're right. I am greasy by choice. I'm the ultimate grease master. My pit stains look like grilled cheese used to be there. That's an image.
May I just say
Jesus.
one thing?
Oh, yeah, go
Whenever
for it.
you are out there that doesn't use cups, you need to use cups.
Yeah. We Americans, there's one thing we know: you change for us, not the other way around.
That
Okay?
is true. That is true. America does love it when other things change for them. But essentially, so training for you. If you're going to go with hard liquor, every 2 shots you have a cup of water. That'll prevent you from getting a hangover. Huge advice right there. If you can't have water, take a Tylenol before you go to bed. Because then you won't have the hangover as bad. It'll still be there, but it won't be as bad. And then for like beer and wine and shit like that, it just takes time for it to sit in your stomach. Like, if you're going to drink 10 beers, you're going to feel bloated. You're going to feel like you have to shit constantly. And you're going to feel really warm. So take it slow. Take it slow, because then it'll all just kind of like hit you in one fell wave. And then you'll just be like, I don't want to go anywhere. Why did I eat that pizza? Oh my God, I farted and it smells. See, that's how you would feel if you did 10 beers with no break and it just hits you all at once. Oh, wait, I'm affecting somebody's autism. I'm sorry, True Doctor.
I don't get why you drink if it's not one of those ladies mixed drinks that are full of sugar, because those taste good.
Those give you hangovers, though. The sugar. It's the sugar that gives you the hangover. 4 shots of tequila deep, my dude Skriegor.
Well,
I just don't get like does alcohol taste good?
No, it tastes it tastes awful. But
like
the more you drink,
piss.
the better it gets. That's the problem. So here's another thing that I sorry Sarah, I'll let you interrupt in a sec. But when it comes to hard liquors, the best hard liquor you can go for is clear liquor. Like when it comes to taste, unless it's rum, then you can go with like oh fuck, maybe I'm lying. Wait a minute. No. Taste is for, I have it backwards. For non-hangovers, you would want to do clear alcohol. For tastier alcohol, you want to do like brown kind of liquid stuff. So like
Cloudy.
Yeah. You want it to have a little tan on it. You don't want it to be that weeby bullshit that I am. You want it to look like fucking Antonio Banderas is ripping off his shirt and his glistening muscles have been captured inside a bottle. That's what you want. That's an image
They
for
make
you.
those.
I don't know.
If it don't look like Flint water, I don't want it. We've established.
Yeah, exactly. So like for like just straight up shooters, vodka's okay, but the taste is kind of septic. I would say go with tequila. It's a little bit of a more earthy flavor, but tequila makes you feel a lot happier because it's the only alcohol that isn't a downer. So when
that's like the one I have had, and that stuff's disgusting.
Yeah, you mix it.
I hate tequila.
You mix it.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I haven't tried that yet.
You want those girly drinks? You make yourself a margarita with fucking tequila. You'll be slapping Antonio Banderas' ass all night, and you'll be happy about it. You'd be sitting there just going, "I'm having a great old time." Next day you wake up, you'll have energy. You won't feel like shit. You'll be like, "I'm gonna go work out and do those bicep curls that Maximum Underdrives forced me to do," because he's in the chat. Hello, how's it going, guys? Vodka's the hardcore drinker's choice. That's true. You offered what?
To do bicep curls, man. I
thought you offered to
I can't
drink
let myself
tequila.
go quite yet. I'm supposed to be in my prime, okay? And yet I spend 9 hours a day at my desk.
Well, I mean, according to your country, your prime isn't until you're 21.
I've still got time.
Yeah, you got 2 more years
I can
to
hit
bulk
300
up.
pounds, come right back to 165 in 2 years, and I will be no worse for wear, right?
You might have a bald spot if you do that. Because there's got to be something wrong with you if you're going from like your weight to my weight back to your weight. That's like figuring out you have an eating disorder, and it's just now you're doing the exact opposite, and then you find out you have cancer. That's pretty much what's happening at that point.
I was gonna say that's a massive depression you got there.
I mean, yeah, I mean that would be two very scalable versions of depression, though. Like the first depression that makes you gain all the weight, and then the next depression you got so sad at how fat you've become that you just never eat. That just seems like a very bad cycle. And then you get depressed because you're so hungry, and then you eat again. It makes no sense. Fat people suck, man.
Do they? They seem so happy to me.
They're not.
I don't think it's very rare that I've found a fat person who is not extremely happy, unless they're on like my 600-pound life.
Okay, well, they're not even people
just,
anymore. Those are fucking Jabba the Hutt wannabes. You paint them green and like roll them onto the set of Star Wars.
Their foreheads are collecting fat. Like, how... what does that feel like?
Well, I'm assuming it must be what it feels like to become Super Saiyan 3 when they get those big foreheads from concentrating all that power. Instead, they're just concentrating all their calories into one area. But then they never need to wear a helmet.
I just don't want to.
That is true.
I just don't want to get to the point where I can't get out of bed. Or
there is at a point you have to roll. You can no longer
to find the wet spot. What? Sorry. You got to roll to find the wet spot, is what I heard. I heard you got to roll.
You have to
so
roll
I
to
just
move around.
I see. Well, okay. So at my heaviest, I was 522 pounds. I was still walking around. I probably could have, if I really cracked down and ate some more McDonald's, I could have probably been on TLC for my 600-pound life. They would have been like, we're going to pay you to just be humiliated for being on the internet, for being such a big boy. You're my little big boy. And then the doctor like rubs my belly and he's just like, you're going to make so much money together. And I'm like, that's what I think it would have been like to be on that show. But I probably could have qualified to be on that show. And I feel like that would have been the motivation to get somewhat skinnier than I am now, considering I'm 298 now. So I don't know. I think that would have been the extra kick in the ass, is just having a bunch of Americans make fun of me on the internet, even though half of them behind the screen are just as heavy, if not heavier than me. I always found that keyboard warrior shit really funny. Yeah. They're instead of having an electric car, they're just given their fucking scooter from the government, and they put NOS on it so they can go the street legal, speed.
Oh. You're hitting 40 in a school zone, sir. Did you notice his name?
Sir, your ass has wide load tattooed on it? Yeah, the bumper sticker didn't fit on the back of my rascal.
It's to code.
290 centimeters. Crazy ass tall man. Who is 290 centimeters?
Evan. He looks like a Slender Man when he stands up and he goes like this. He's like
200. Isn't that like 10 feet tall? 290 centimeters. That's
silly.
That's 9 foot. That's 9 foot something.
Your silly metric system is ruining everything.
We don't use centimeters.
Well, hey, I use centimeters because it makes my dick sound way bigger if I say it's 18 centimeters. I mean,
crank that up to millimeters. 0. You're in like the thousands.
Why would you want to be 7 inches when you could be like 800 micrometers or whatever? Yeah, baby. I'm packing some big schmeat. It's 800 macrometers, baby. You're going to need the ultra wide lens to fit this bad boy on your screen. Fuck. God damn it.
Oh, I'm just reading Az's post or comment.
I don't know, Ruthless. Listen, you could have been a professional fat ass. You could have written off your McDonald's, your fast food.
What did you think I did?
You could have gone from show to show and just been a how is this not the best?
I did write off all my McDonald's meals. Because I ate them while I was recording YouTube. I mean, how could they prove I didn't? It's not like they could just go back and be like, oh, I don't hear your greasy fingers hitting the buttons in this video, so you clearly weren't eating McDonald's French fries.
I don't know about Canadian tax service, but the IRS will come to your house and like set up camera. I don't know. They're crazy. They will stake you out. They will follow you. They have no boundaries.
Oh yeah, no, in Canada it's pretty chill. We just kind of like pay our taxes and then they just never show up.
Do they tell you? Do they tell you what you have to pay? Because they
No.
don't do that here.
Well, sort of. They provide you a program where you just put in how much you've made and how much taxes you have paid, and then it just automatically calculates it out for you.
Not
I
here.
moved to Canada. Sounds so much
probably-
easier.
I mean, it is a lot nicer. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, America, but you'll never live up to how much nicer we are. I mean, we have stereotypes about how polite we are. I mean, most of them are false, but we still have stereotypes about it.
Says the guy with that on his desk.
I mean, I'm technically not Canadian. I'm not from Canada.
You're technically
from?
from Germany.
Exactly. I was born in the
Really?
good old place of Berlin.
Oh no, that tells everyone I've been in
I
the
mean, the amount that
channel a long time.
it would be really Heil, damn it. It would be really it would be really strange if I was bullied for being a Nazi when I was in high school. If I wasn't German, because I'd be like, where is this connection coming from? Why am I a Nazi? But because I'm related to a very well-known Nazi, it made it way worse. Not
Which
Hitler.
one?
Rommel. General Erwin J. Rommel, the
Really?
Desert Fox. Yeah, he was my great uncle.
It's kind of. Dude, he's like the cool. He's like the only cool one.
He was
Probably.
well. I mean, I wouldn't quite go that far. I would say he's not as bad
He was
as the others.
coolest. We'll say coolest.
Yeah.
Best in a bad bunch.
He was the one banana in that batch that you could use for bread.
That's a good way of putting it.
Any family heirlooms? No, they were taken by the government to give back to the Jews. Wow, that just kind of slipped out. Whoops.
That was worth it though.
I mean, it's technically not wrong, but I will
Okay.
say there's a lot of questionable things about my family on that side of the world that I don't want to know the answers to, because they are surprisingly wealthy, almost a retardedly amount wealthy. So I don't know where that all came from, and I have questions as to how much of it is from, things that should have been given back but weren't.
We could probably consult Alex Jones.
I mean, if
about
anything,
this
he'll just
one.
tell
I'm
me
sure
my
he'd have a
frogs are
conspiracy
gay.
theory to explain it.
We need
He'll tell me
to
I'm
go-
gay. he'll be like, that beer's turning you gay, son.
I think we should consult Matt Pat. He's the conspiracy guy.
Is
He's
he a
the
conspiracy
theorist.
guy? Oh, he's the
Well,
yes.
well,
he's
he's
the game theory
theorist.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
does
it's like-
food theory.
He
Yes.
does game theory.
I watched a video on that on how, if in the M&M commercials if they are actually cannibals.
Wait, sorry.
What
Can
about
you
the
go
Cinnamon
back?
Toast Crunch people? They literally, that's like the shtick is they eat each other.
I mean, yeah. But then again, so does like every other species but human. Like the amount of times I've seen a hamster eat its own babies is just kind of sad. Like they pop one out and then they're all of a sudden they're just like, "Ooh, dinner time." And I'm like, "What the fuck? What is
Oh,
wrong
no.
with this hamster?"
Nothing. That's normal. That's the problem.
It's okay, Jimmy. This is just how life works. The next day, Jimmy's cutting off his mom. Jimmy, what are you doing? Your mother, no! She's delicious.
For food theories, though, I think the only food theory I really want to hear is what was the guy doing when he got the milk?
Oh,
How did he get the milk? How did the first guy get milk?
I like the idea of I like the idea of two cavemen or a caveman and cave woman sitting in a cave just going oh 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 just milking her for some reason, just playing with it like it's a radio, and then all of a sudden he gets hit in the face and he's just like oh oh oh. Oh, the fucking audio listeners for this are gonna have a blast. It's just gonna sound like I'm fucking violating myself. There you go, clip it. Monkey fucks. That's what we'll call it.
The only problem is that we don't even know if you're banging it, you're banging yourself.
Well, I mean, clearly, I'm very alone.
Because you got your little box in front of you.
Oh, no, that's just me violently violating myself. My chair has a built-in power drill.
Ooh.
It's just constantly turned
Chairs
on.
these days.
I mean, you got to satisfy every gamer's needs, right? So,
Yeah.
in the case of all those hot tub streamers, there's clearly chairs that are built with holes in the bottom of them for power drill insertion. For the next big craze, instead of hot tub streams, it's going to be power drill streams. You'll be sitting there watching Pokemon eat a salad, reacting to stuff, and all you hear in the background is, and everybody's just like, what's that noise? And Pokemon's just like, oh, what a great video. Wow, the salad is so delicious.
Ooh, it tickles.
I like how I'm attacking Pokemon for like no reason. I should have been attacking Amaranth, but here I am throwing Pokemon under the bus.
Just choose one of like 50 hot tub streamers. And
I literally chose the one person who didn't do a hot tub stream, and I was just like, yeah, she'd power drill fuck herself on stream.
The funny thing is that I looked on my hype train like area, and there was a guy doing a hot tub stream.
You know what? Power to him. I hope he made more money than all the other ones. I hope he made an absurd amount of money. Like just so that like Twitch has to be like, yeah, the hot tub streams I guess we'll keep because it covers everybody now that this dude is super successful on it. I want that to be the case. Oh yes, and of course Maximum Underdrive is going to do their hot tub time machine, and they're going to make a fortune doing it. What did I say? Hot tub stream, not time machine. I got it confused with the movie.
Oh, I was gonna say, are they gonna make a third movie? Just with Maximum Underdrive with it?
I'm sure they'd be willing to sign up for it. John Cusack in his currently unemployed state just being like, yeah, I'll do any movie for money. He's almost at the same stage as Nicolas Cage. Have any of you seen the like Wally's World?
Wally's World.
Or was it Wally's Wonderland? It's the Five Nights at Freddy's spinoff that Nicolas Cage stars in, but says nothing but kills everything. It's like if John Wick was written by a 12-year-old with like Asperger's.
I saw that in the store today.
It's really fucking goofy. It is the weirdest thing I think I've ever seen.
When did this come
out?
February.
I saw it when I went in and got my mic today.
Yeah, it's definitely a watch. I don't know how much you'll be able to get through it, but with weed, I was able to enjoy it very thoroughly.
That sounds like the only way to watch this movie.
So just to really sell you on it, there was a scene where two people be fucking, right? You know how it is in horror movies. People be fucking in these like terribly dirty, weird places that are abandoned. They just get together and they find a room and they're like, let's bang. So there's a scene where they just be humping, and the girl just goes, man, I think that thing moved. I think it's gonna kill us. And then the guy's just like, shut up, I'm trying to nut. Essentially, right? So
did he literally say that? I hope he literally said that.
Close enough.
I believe Nicolas Cage wrote this movie personally.
I don't even think he knows how to read. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did
everything anway. He doesn't need to.
Exactly. Everything that he's ever done was all just improv. And we should give him a round of applause just for that. But no, like she's just humping this guy, and then all of a sudden the thing starts moving and getting closer to her, and she sees it, and she's still humping him, and she's just going, ah! And I'm like, you could stop. Why aren't you just getting off of him? Like, what are you doing? And then they die. And I'm like, okay, who wrote this movie? What the fuck is this trash? But it was so bad that it like somehow made it good. Like, not to the same extent that like Evil Dead was bad, but it ended up being amazing. It was like it tried too hard to be a B movie, so it ended up being a C movie because it was just that bad.
So it was just so bad, it's bad.
Yeah, but it's still worth watching. It's that weird type of like torture that you got to get put yourself through.
I'm
It
still
just
waiting for all these cursed movies to come out. I feel like they're gonna make a canon Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I saw some tweet from Paramount that said the imposter is on screen or something like that,
Oh no.
which means to me they're making an Among Us movie. If
You
that
know,
thing doesn't get canceled, I don't think they understand anything about what's popular because that's been dead for months.
I could actually see that movie being okay, but I would want a Five Nights at Freddy porn parody with like Freddy Fuckbear instead of Freddy Fazbear.
Oh, they exist.
Oh, I know,
Go to Rule
but
34.
I'm not trusting anything on Rule 34 with Five Nights at Freddy's. There's too much of a likelihood for there to be children involved, and I am not EDP. I mean, can you tell me I'm
No,
wrong?
I'm scared.
Like Five Nights at Freddy's is like specifically a kid's game, especially if PewDiePie played it.
It's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Like,
Too scary for kids.
I don't
It's not
think
a
it is
Roblox
though.
game.
I've played Five Nights at Freddy's and it didn't scare me at all. Like, oh, you're
Well,
sitting still, and some little scary bear from Chuck E. Cheese is going to pop out and just go rawr. I don't care. Like, fuck. Give me something that's scary. Give me like some Dead Space level shit. Like, if an animatronic is chasing me around the entire fucking place, and I've got like a butter knife and a slice of pizza, I'd be probably scared. But if I'm sitting in the office and I have to like click the lights on and off to give the bear a seizure so it like walks away, that's not scary to me. That just seems like a huge inconvenience, and somebody needs to reprogram these damn robots.
especially if you know the patterns too.
Yeah, well, I guess so. I thought they were always randomly generated. It just wasn't a scary game. It was just boring and tedious. That's why I never did it on YouTube. I played the first one and I was like, this sucks. Why is Markiplier sitting here going, oh my god, and like over the top at reacting to everything when I'm literally sitting there just being like, this is the least scary game I think I've ever played.
Well, what I mean is that like I'm pretty sure it's like random, like each level is randomized, but I mean like you know where they're gonna be popping out.
I guess so.
So
It's
it
been like
kind
8
of
years
doesn't
since I
really,
played it.
so it doesn't really make it all too scary. Like if they just like if they were random, if they popped out like random in random spots, then maybe it'll be scary. Kind of like in like the Alien games
Oh
or the
god,
like
yeah.
Alien Isolation, like you could just come or pop up.
Mm-hmm. That was
It,
fucking freaky.
it was kind of freaky just watching you.
And okay, that was like one of the first games I decided to be like a less of a bitch and start playing everything on the hardest difficulty. That was a bad choice for the first game for me to do that because it was not the standard shit where it's a pre-programmed AI just running wherever it's supposed to like cut you off. It followed you. It listened to you and it learned your patterns. So if you did the same thing more than once, it would check it. And it would check it in the future too. So if you went into a locker and it found you that one time, it'll find you in almost every other locker after that because it'll see it and then it'll open it. So you have to change your pattern hoping that it's going to pick that pattern that you chose before. So if you have a choice between going under a table and going into the locker and you went into the under the table last time, if you go into the locker, odds are he won't find you. But if you go under the table, prepare to get your ass eaten. And not in the fun way either, you fucking perverts.
In the literal way.
Yeah. That little tongue creature is going to come out and just start munching at your butthole. But no, like if you haven't played that game on if you haven't played that game on the hard difficulty yet, Jimothy, and you're about to like stream, do it. It's worth it. And the community behind it is huge. Can I get a shout out?
I haven't
to
played
the
it at all.
podcast?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm Vamp, and I'm a mod on the stream. I don't really stream, but I want to when my internet gets better. That's the only reason why I'm not streaming right now. So, yeah. So, if you want, give me a follow, and when my internet gets better, then you'll most likely see me on.
I haven't set up the shoutouts thing. If you guys want to drop your links though in the description or in the chat, go for it.
I might do it at
But
the end. I don't know.
but I also I already have some followers. Like there's some people that uh I've in other streams I've gone in and or uh I've been like if they ask like, hey, do you stream? And then I'd be like, no, but I want to. And then there'd be just random or some people in like the chat just give me a follow, and it's like, oh, cool. But I don't have many.
I mean, you're at least getting all the shit you need first before starting
Yes.
to stream, so that's at least
Yes.
good. And you did do a couple test streams to find out that your internet wasn't quite where it needed to be, because that would suck if you had
Yes.
your heart all set on streaming and then all of a sudden you click start stream and
Yes.
it's basically a slideshow. So
And
that would have been
like
brutal.
one thing that kind of sucks is that like I got a paper saying that I was denied my social security. So, and they gave me like I can go in and appeal it. And like I'm just thinking, man, like there are so many people out there that have it that don't need it. Like on the yes, I
It's always
know,
good. I mean, I don't know anyone
but
who wants to turn down free money.
That's
but
true.
like it's crazy. Like for me, like it feels like I'm always turned down for like jobs and stuff, and I honestly don't know why they don't tell me like what I can improve on or something like that. And sometimes I kind of feel uh like it's part of me. Like I feel like uh I have so many things wrong with me. That's why I don't want kids. I don't want to pass any of that down to them. But like I have my eyes that's the problem. I have like speech issues. I have learning disabilities, like and I have to take medicine like medications too, like for my thyroid and stuff. And it's like, I don't want that passed on to my kids if I ever have any. And like now it kind of feels like uh Twitch is the only thing for me to do right now. Like at least they won't uh judge.
I get your
And
point.
like that's kind of why I think like employers kind of do. Like they think, oh, there's other people out there that are better that don't have this issue, that can learn faster, that can see everything clearly, like have both eyes. Because I only have my right eye, and if you put your hand on your left eye or it's covering it, that is basically what I see.
But okay,
Yes.
so I kind of want to go back a little bit on what you were saying. So when it comes down to not wanting to pass certain things on, that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily happen just because it's happening to you. Like the
I
amount
know.
of things that my parents have that are something I would not want to inherit, and I didn't get anything from either of them, which is great, uh, is astronomical. Yeah, my eyes are shit. My personality is pretty weird. There's a possibility I'm probably on the spectrum, but I just haven't gotten it diagnosed. I
Mm-hmm.
had a speech impediment, but it took me quite a few years to figure out how to control it mostly. And then, of course, there's my weight problem. So, like, these are all traits that I wouldn't want to pass on to my kids, but I also know about the nature versus nurture thing. So a lot of
Mhm.
these things can be trained out of children. Not
Mhm.
necessarily the eyes thing. Like my eyes are fucked too. Like I move these glasses, I can't see shit. Everything's just a blur. So I wouldn't necessarily use that against wanting to ever have kids.
But
But in
like,
terms of like job and everything, like the thing is everybody nowadays is so politically correct that if you were to tell somebody you didn't get a job because of a certain problem, like let's say they rejected you because of your learning disability, if that became public, they would get fucking destroyed in terms of the public view. So I don't think they want to risk anything like that. I just think that the job market in America specifically is super super saturated because
mhm.
there's a lot of businesses that close and a lot of those people have a lot of history in terms of work that end up applying for those jobs. And I think they look more at the work history than they do look
Mhm.
at what you currently like have as in terms of like issues or anything like that. Because a lot of the
Mhm.
times when you're applying for a job, the people that are reading your resume, you've never even seen, they've never seen you, they don't know who you are, they just see you as a piece of paper. And if they've got 18 different resumes on that desk, they're going to pick whoever has the highest work experience. Or,
Which is kind of
yeah,
hard for me
that's the problem.
because I have none. But like the with like the funny thing is that like on my paper for like it to be able to get that uh like or to get social security, it says that you have to not be able to function. And then when for to get for your eyes, it says that your good eye has to be like a certain like practically blind. And it's like my good eye is 20/20. It's
Damn.
the left eye that is the problem.
You've got
That
ninja's eyes.
and it really uh sucks. Sometimes like especially when it comes to driving. Like I barely
Mm.
passed my driver's license. Or I barely got it. And like that's I can drive in like small towns and uh like
Like
roads,
rural areas. Yeah.
sometimes like interstates and stuff, but big cities are a problem for me because there's so many places to look. There's
Mm.
so many places to possibly miss.
Mm-hmm.
And like with my eyes, like that can't I don't want to risk that. And that's why I choose not to drive unless if I really have to.
Fair enough. I'm kind of the same way when it comes to driving. I get really bad anxiety in big city driving, but small town driving is super easy for me.
Mhm.
I, I like in terms of I also want to kind of clarify something. So you do you live in a small town?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. I think that
But
makes a little
I
bit more
live
sense
near
then.
bigger towns. Like uh there's a town next to me that's probably maybe 10 to 15 miles away, I want to say. And
Miles. Okay, I've converted
that's
that.
bigger. That's more like that's a bigger town. Like uh there's one that I want to say like 30 to 45 minutes away. That's Davenport. And that's like a major city. Um,
Not that I want to
like
dox you or anything, so let's try to not be too specific. I got to clarify that.
I know.
Got to be careful with
But
that.
like uh it it like I try not to go into like bigger cities if I need to drive. Like that's kind of why I stay trying like when searching for a job. Like that's why I kind of stay inside the city. Like
Right.
there
Okay.
like basically everywhere near me it's kind of like a big city and like it's kind of no fun. Just having somebody drive you everywhere. And, like, especially if they have a job too.
I can see
Like,
that being annoying.
mm-hmm.
I will say though, for the job thing, I I cannot as someone who just got a job scooping ice cream, I can tell you it is extremely valuable. I turned in my resume to like 10 places. Didn't get a single call back. I wandered into this ice cream shop and I was just like, here's my resume. Turned it in, got a call 2 hours later. And maybe it was the fact that my right arm is significantly is
I
very
wonder
practiced
why.
and scoops. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, scoops.
But
Yeah, that's why.
or it's just showing initiative. It's good. I you can't going and talking to somebody is always going to be better than them just looking at your paper and deciding, oh, no work experience.
Actually,
Because
that is a good point because the place that I'm currently working at, I kind of did the same thing. I didn't even have a resume, and I kind of walked in looking all disheveled and kind of homeless, just because I didn't give a fuck and I was out of work for like 6 months, so I was just in my pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked in and. Have a good night, Field to Do. Thanks for stopping by. And I walked in and I was just like, you guys need somebody to work in sales? And then they were like, yeah, we're hiring. And I'm like, I know about computers. I can sell them. And then they were just like, oh, okay, sure, fuck it. And then they just kind of hired me. And they're a big corporation too. Like they're not like a mom and pop shop. They're all across Canada. So I think it's more so just to, I guess my biggest tip would be to just speak to the manager. Do what Karen would do, but don't yell at him.
Okay.
be a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, be a good Karen. Be care. Put the Karen.
Be a Karen with a C, not a K.
So this is what you do. You walk in, you kick down the door, you go, "Where's the manager?" And then when the manager shows up, you go, "I'd like a job, please." And then they're just like, "Oh, okay. This is a lot more calm than I thought this was going to be." Yeah, sure, fuck it. As long as you're not going to yell at me again.
Like, my dream jobs, besides, like, Twitch, is either GameStop or Hot Topic.
I probably wouldn't do GameStop because odds are if Reddit stops making them a meme, they're going bankrupt. Hot Topic, I feel like will stick around for quite a few more decades just because there will always be that blue-haired Hot Topic girl in us everywhere.
Yeah. Like, the funny thing is that when I like go in there, I just feel at home. Like a
That's
home
fair.
away from home. It's kind of crazy.
Whenever I
Like
walk in there, it's like my closet, so it does feel like a home away from home. Jimothy's just like, I don't like Hot Topic.
I've never been in one, dude. I
Oh,
watched from afar and I'm like,
you're
I'm
missing
gonna
out.
walk.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna keep my distance.
here's the Canadian experience of Hot Topic, right? Okay, you go into a big mall, huge mall. Everybody's like walking around spending way more money on socks made by Versace than they spent on their fucking child support. And then you go and you walk past this one store. You hear Sum 41 playing in the distance. Then, oh, what's that? Green Day is now playing? Whoa! So you walk into the store and you see a fucking wall of Funko Pop figures. Whoa, my collectibles is going to like increase by 1000%. And then when you're walking up to those collectibles, you'll see 3 Hot Topic people. There'll be the dude wearing fishnet arm things with rings and tattoos and long emo hair who could or could not be considered goth. It's hard to tell sometimes. You'll see the blue-haired girl who's got more junk in the trunk than I do. And you'll see the short-haired but possibly not lesbian feminazi.
Literally the 3 kids from South Park.
Yeah,
Literally
yeah.
the 3 gods.
It's the
minus
3 gods.
Freaking baby.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And then, so stay away, gotcha. Exactly, Max. Exactly. But you have to at least experience it, though. And then when you're in
Or
that
don't.
store, they make it, at least in Canada, they make it so that there isn't really any room to walk past anyone as you're going in and looking through things. So you're like kind of dry humping everybody you're passing. So you're just like, and then you're just like walk past them, and then everybody's just like looking at each other like, did you mean to do that? Then they like look around, they realize there's no space. So everybody's just dry humping everybody. And then when you finally find that one item you want, you can only find it in the size that's 6 sizes too big or too small. And then you're just like, what the fuck? This is the only thing this is all I wanted. And then it's just like you get upset about it. And then you talk to the dude who's like, to see if you can order in another one from another store. And he's just like, what? I've got problems to deal with. And they're all emotional. And it's just like, what? Can you just fucking do your job and stop writing poetry for 1 second and just get me this jacket?
Hey Chris, just to let you know, I'm probably gonna be getting off around midnight,
Completely fine.
would be in like 20 minutes.
Thanks for the heads up. Understandable. I know you're 2 hours ahead of me.
Yeah.
But like,
I was gonna say, the sun just went down. It's summer. Maybe it's
Yeah.
almost still up. It's weird now. Like sun goes down at like 8:30, and I'm like, it's not supposed to be daytime anymore.
I think
know.
the sun is still kind of up. Nope, it is very dark out.
Like
Yeah, I kind of lose track
problem-
of time.
like the problem with me, like there's so many things that like it would be nice to do, like be on like the West Coast. There's like compared to being Central Time, like I can actually stay or like watch the podcasts more. And then like or if I was like on the West Coast and like compared to Central Time and like there's some things that like for Central Time would be nice or it's good too because like the League of Legends streamer that I watch in the mornings, I wouldn't be able to watch him if I was like Western Time and then or in like even like Eastern Time sometimes it'll be like good or like has its advantages too.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like for me personally, I probably would be better off West Coast than East Coast just because of my sleeping habits and all of that. Like for me, I already wake up at like noon or 1 p.m. just because
couldn't do
every day is
that.
the same. But like the funny thing is when Resident Evil 8 came out, I actually specifically got up at like 8 in the morning. I wanted to change my routine, finish that entire day's worth of streaming and editing, and then I don't know what it was, but I was just hit by like an overwhelming wave of depression. So then like after I finished that and after I finished doing the podcast last week, I kind of just took a hiatus from streaming. As you probably noticed, I was gone for like 5 days. The reason for that was just to kind of reflect on why I was feeling depressed, and I still have no answer as to why, but it's definitely better now. But I have to get back into a routine where I'm up earlier again.
Yes.
Because once I fall into this routine of going to bed at 5 in the morning and waking up at noon, I just feel so defeated. Like I wake up at noon and I'm like, well, all right, half my day is gone, so I'm just gonna stream for a little bit, edit, and then watch Super Mega for 6 hours to fall asleep.
Well, I don't think I could ever wake up at noon. Like,
You clearly don't smoke weed.
I know.
It's,
but
that's like the one thing that comes with smoking weed is waking up at noon.
But like, when with my ex, he'd go to bed around like midnight, 1 o'clock, and sleep till noon, and
Holy shit, that's a lot of sleep.
I could hardly even do that. I wake up around maybe 6:30 to 7:30, maybe 7. And
Damn.
then I just stay in bed until around 8. Then I decide to get up.
Fuck. For me, okay, so for me, this is how I could tell I was out of my little depression funk bullshit or whatever it was. I don't know if I can even call it depression because I have no idea what the fuck it was. Usually I have some semblance of an idea of why I felt like shit. But I guess that's kind of the definition of depression. Anyway, I went to bed at 6:30 this morning and woke up at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. because
Mm-hmm.
definitely not 10 p.m. We're not even there yet. I woke up at 10 a.m. and I was full of energy. I was like, oh shit, here we go. I'm awake now. And then I just kind of stayed awake the entire day and I cranked out even more edits. Like now I'm almost done editing all of Red Dead Redemption 2 for YouTube. And I did Red Dead 1 and Undead Nightmare, and now I'm 7 of the 8 streams in for the edits of that, and I'm like cranking this shit out. And that boost of energy is why I can tell I'm no longer depressed. Because otherwise I'd still be lethargic, I'd be laying in bed, I'd be beating my meat constantly. But I woke up today, spanked the monkey once, and then I went back to work. That's all I did.
Well,
So that's how you can know you're not depressed.
like with me, like I can stay like I have to want to stay up to actually stay up and not get angry that I haven't gone to sleep yet. Like if somebody is like forcing me to stay up without me wanting to, and uh or like if somebody wakes me up like way too early without me wanting to, then I start to get a bit angry because
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm just kind of set in my ways where like I want to be asleep by this time unless if like there's something going on that I want to do. Like if I want to stay up like most of the night, like reading a book or like watching a show,
Mm.
I will I will watch the show till I get tired.
Yeah, yeah.
And like even that could be till midnight, it could be till 11, it could be till any time.
See,
And
those numbers to me, I actually find quite interesting. Just like, because for me, midnight is like my dinner time based on when I get up. So it's just like, when you're like, yeah, I get tired by midnight, I'm like, fuck, I wish I could.
I
But then
know.
it just becomes a vicious cycle of me being tired at like 5 in the morning, then I finally
I
fall
think
asleep, and then I wake
like
up. So,
sometimes I just feel like that's a man thing. Or like a boy like a man thing in their 20s like or like
I mean, you have
teens.
described me pretty clearly. I have a
I
man
think
in
you've
my
described
20s.
most of the male gender.
Actually, I'm kind of
And
curious. How long what's the longest you've ever stayed up if you get tired around midnight? Like, how many have you ever done an all-nighter?
well, yes, I have.
Have
I
you ever
have
done two?
no, not two.
Oh, okay.
I've done a I like my cousin once did a 24-hour um little charity thing for his
Mm,
friend's mom.
right.
And it was, oh, I forgot what it was actually called, but it was where we like uh my cousin, his friends, and my brother and I all stayed up 24 hours and played Guitar Hero and Rock Band.
That actually does sound like a lot of fun.
It was.
I would play the drums for like 24 hours. That'd be fun.
It was.
Nice.
And we had some pizza and
Yep.
it was it was really good.
You're bringing me back to
It,
when I
it
was
was fun.
15.
It was fun.
How about you, Jimothy?
And
What's the longest you did? Oh, sorry, I
I
didn't mean
think
to
I've
cut
done
you
a.
off.
I think I've done a day, a night, and a day, and that was
Oh,
because my old middle school. It's been a long time. I think I've pulled
uh,
one or two all nighters for high school, but not much. So I used to go to
interesting.
like these lock in things, and they'd have like pizza and video games and spooky movies, stuff like that. And you just stay there all night, and then I'd stay up the next day and go to bed. That was pretty cool, but I don't understand how people go like 2 days without sleeping. I can't do it. I'm tired like
My
all the
record
time,
is
yes,
and
4.
that's me.
like unless you're like a meth head or something, you're like
I
up
was not a
for
meth head. How
72
dare
hour
you?
benders.
My record's
I,
4 days straight, and that was just from editing
three.
and streaming. 4 days.
4.
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
But I went through a really bad phase where I'd be up 2 or 3 days and I'd sleep one whole day. It was a weird. I might as well have been a crackhead. Fuck, what the hell was wrong with me at that fucking
You
stage
might
of my
be
life?
healthier if you were.
It probably would have been. I'd be skinny. I'd be jacked because you know how you're constantly shaking. Your muscles are constantly getting a workout.
You'd have the veiniest arms. All the ladies would be all over you.
Everything's veiny, head to toe.
You get like striations in your chin.
I was actually gonna say he'd probably be skin and bones.
Oh no. I would have one really big arm like Quagmire when he discovered the internet. That's what I would be. I would be lanky everywhere, but I would have like Hulk Hogan's right arm attached to me. And I'd be like, yeah, brother, as I'm like looking at my penis, jerking it off, like, yeah, just waiting for the DNA to hit me. Or is it RNA? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. All I know is that it's covered in zinc. Okay, so here's a problem I have with survival movies. Why don't we see people eating cum?
I feel like at one point I looked it up and it's only like 10 calories or something.
No,
I was
I
thinking
mean,
of like the calorie burn and it's like 10
but,
and I was like that can't be right. That can't be right.
Yeah, but I mean if you come in somebody's mouth, you're giving them a little bit of extra protein to get through that issue. So why aren't people just like on strand, like Castaway, for instance? Why didn't we see a scene of Tom Hanks coming into his own mouth? That would have been Academy Award winner Tom
more
Hanks.
Self-respect than that.
No,
he wasn't that desperate.
He doesn't
for a
have.
role.
Are you kidding
Like,
me?
at
He was
that point,
Forrest
it's
Gump.
just-
He went full retard. You never go full retard. He played a character that ended up fucking somebody who had HIV and was too dumb to realize that he now has AIDS.
That is true, but that was a character act. That
Yeah.
wasn't a Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah, but neither is Castaway. He's a character actor in that. It's not like Tom Hanks is stranded on the island and his best friend becomes Wilson. That'd be a much more entertaining movie. We took Tom Hanks.
That's what they did.
We took Tom Hanks and we left him on an island.
Hey,
That's what they did for the what's the one? God damn it. What's the one with like all the people? Blair Witch Project.
Oh,
they literally were just
yes.
like, all right, you're going on a hike for 2 weeks and we'll give you some food here and there. And they just intentionally starved them. So they'd get pissed off with each other. They could get better like real moments. They'd be like, okay, tonight this is something's gonna happen. So if it's like, don't get too freaked out. Don't call the police when something weird happens. But they just like collapse tents on them and stuff in the middle of the night to keep them up. And like, I like it. I hope they did that for the Castaway.
I'll talk about what I want to mention for a movie afterwards, but I think Sarah's been trying to squeak in something here.
Like just imagine how flexible you would have to be to actually go in and
No, he doesn't have to suck his dick.
Your own dick.
No, you just look down and you aim for the mouth. You just have to have a strong shot.
Oh. Well, you still have to be flexible if you ever wanted.
I've
to
accidentally
stick your
came on my own
mouth
face
on...
before. I mean, I didn't admit that on camera. Fuck.
But like the other thing that I was gonna say is
why did
like,
I admit that? Fuck. No.
I was gonna say like about the survival movies. Like just imagine, like, oh, if you don't suspect anything, don't call for the cops. If somebody dies, that's all part of the scene.
See, I like the idea of the movie The Grey with Liam Neeson. Like, he's just in there with his boys after a plane crash or some shit. I can't remember the full movie, but could you imagine if he was just in the middle of the forest and he's like, oh my god, John, I need to suck your dick. I need nutrients, John. I need it. I need to see your gray so I can extract the white. Damn it.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, man. I mean, if anybody's going to ask me for my cum, it better be Qui-Gon Jinn. I'm just saying that right now. If he came up to me, he was like, let me suck your dick, I'd probably be like, okay.
No question.
Like for me,
Go for it. Is it for nutrients? Is it for the metachlorian count?
I don't want to know. I don't want to.
I need to measure your metachlorian count, Anakin. Show me your dick.
for me,
No.
I'd want Jar Jar.
Oh, the long tongue. Yeah, I can see. I can
Yes.
see why. You could taste what you had for lunch while it was still in your stomach. Oh no. Oh, that's a bad description. No, that's a real bad description. Oh no.
I can't
This
tell
is
if
so
this is going off
excited.
the rails or if it's getting even more on them.
I mean, there are no rails here. This is like, picture it like Mad Max, and there's somebody just spray painting their teeth. That's my mentality right now.
I just hope Jimothy's now like, what the hell am I getting into? I didn't sign up for this podcast.
Actually,
I
he
wasn't
did.
expecting
Listen.
this.
I did sign up for this. I had to sign a waiver, but I do want to walk away from this employable.
No, not happening. That was that was in the TOS.
Oh, you
that
didn't
was in-
read the half point print?
You just like look at my waiver, it just says you done fucked up. That's all it is underlined.
I was gonna say
Couldn't
that,
read it. It was written on toilet paper.
Oh no.
that's all in the microscopic print.
Oh yes. I wrote it with
Yes.
my microscopic penis. So okay, so here's a movie that I know not many people have seen, mostly because it's been banned in almost every country in the 70s. It was called Cannibal Holocaust. And it is a
With a name like that,
So, okay.
I don't know if I can resist.
Hear me out. It is 100% worth watching because of how they marketed this shit. They marketed it as a documentary, not a mockumentary, a full-on legitimate documentary of people going to this tribe of cannibals in the middle of some forest or jungle or whatever, and like trying to interview them and just get like an idea of their lifestyle. And during that movie, all of a sudden you like see them like ripping turtles apart, and this was all real. These weren't fake animals. They like ripped turtles apart and they like started eating them because they weren't given any food or water, and they were just kind of left there. The actors were left there, so they had to like kill everything and eat it. And then once the like crew got to the point of the movie where they were filming the part where everybody realizes they're cannibals, there was just like people strung up in trees. There were people who had spikes delivered right through the ass coming out their mouth. And this was the 70s, by the way, and it looked fucking phenomenal. Even to this day, I'm still convinced those are real corpses. I'm still convinced those are real dead bodies, and I don't think they can tell me otherwise. It was that well put together. And again, this is the 70s. And then what happened was the director paid these actors to stay in hiding for a year. So their family didn't know, their friends didn't know, nobody knew that these people were alive, because in the movie they died. So everybody was under the impression they just watched a snuff film. And they just watched all these people get fucking violated and murdered and eaten by this group of people. And it's fucked. They had to remove the movie from everywhere because it was so controversial. The dude was arrested from the FBI because they thought for sure he was just neglecting the fact that he just killed a whole bunch of people by sending them there. So he had to call them out of hiding to get them to come out and say that this was all just a mockumentary. And then once that came out, then they still kept the movie banned, but it's on YouTube.
Wow.
What a fucking adventure that was.
Cannibal Holocaust plus Cannibal Holocaust 2 on Vimeo.
There's a second.
They made a sequel.
I don't know if the sequel could hold up to the first one. With the hype the first one had, with how they did it, I don't think you could do a Cannibal Holocaust 2 when it was marketed to be a real movie. Like, could you imagine the amount of people that just watch those people die and are scarred for life because they were under the impression they just watched a murder happen?
Did they play
Well, they
these in movie
probably-
Yeah.
theaters?
Oh yeah. It was only
Oh my
PG or
God.
some shit. It was like it was eligible for kids and shit. And then the guy got like sued, and that's when they like brought in the whole rating system and made it a lot more strict because of movies like this. It was insane. And like he was blacklisted. He was never allowed to make movies again, really.
Those kids must have been scarred for life.
Well, Jelly Duck does say that it was made in Italy. Only parts of it were made in
Yeah.
Italy. A lot of it was actually made in. I think it was an island close to Italy. It was to make it look like it was some sort of off the coast island. So it was like all completely fine. It was all safe. Everybody was safe. They just kind of left them there with no food or water, though, so they had to kill animals in order to eat. But I mean, it was the 70s. People were probably still hunting for food back then, and like Walmart wasn't a thing in the middle of a jungle, but it probably is now. Welcome to Walmart Jungle, where you don't have to eat the animals except for the ones we kill.
You ever watch Naked and Afraid? Because I want to hope that one of those episodes devolves into that.
I want to be on it.
That would be kick-ass.
I would totally be on Naked and Afraid. Because I don't think they'd be able to air anything involving me, because it would just be me next to a tree beating my meat. I'm going to be like, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out coming.
My partner's just over there, like, crying.
The cameraman's just like,
Starving.
my
You're
eyes.
just, like, working off of thousands of calories. You're just like, I'm good till next week. What are you going to eat? Just like...
See, the funny thing for me, though, I feel like I wouldn't be any good as a hunter. So as soon as it got to the point where I needed to kill somebody else, I probably would. What a weird thing to admit to. But like, if you put me in the middle of a forest and there's like potentially 5 other people out there, I'm either going to manipulate my way to get their food, or I'm killing them. It's going to be on camera, baby. Fuck. They're never going to put me on that show now. Everybody's
Most
afraid of
likely
me
not.
being naked.
They call it Naked and Afraid
I know.
because they're afraid of you.
They're afraid of me. They took off their clothes so they can
Rightfully
blend
so.
into the forest better. All you hear is me in the distance going, "Ooh-wee, come here, it's dinner time, baby."
It's literally like you
It's a
ever read
horror
that
movie.
book, the most dangerous game?
Yeah. That's me.
I would watch.
I'm that guy.
That would be so good.
Could
I
you
wanna see
imagine
that.
me
Just
as the
you
most
hunting them
dangerous
down.
guy? Like the most dangerous game, you have me just as myself. They don't even tell me it's a movie. I can't even see the cameras. They just give me a gun and they're just like, you have a license to kill everybody that is in this property for 24 hours. It's like The Purge, but I actually think it's real. So I'm just running around firing blanks. People are got like squibs on them. I'm like, yeah, I did it. Peeing on their corpses. They're just like, this is really fucked. Why did we give him a fake gun?
Fake gun.
Did I hear fake gun?
thought-
Pull out the machete, start chasing the cameraman.
That is 12 gauge flechette. That is Magnum buckshot.
You're about to see something else that's Magnum. You hear me unzipping my pants as I'm running towards him. Come here! Why is it always the people that always want to show you their dick have the smallest cock?
They've had to make up for what they lack down there in pure aggression.
That's probably
why.
what it is. It's a
Well,
scare
good thing I don't
tactic.
have to worry about that.
No, but it would be weird if you had like the biggest vagina and you're like running around. You're just like, it's very unwind resistance. Like every time you run, all you hear is a just like wind grazing it. Kind of like when you
Okay.
blow on a whiskey bottle, like a
Impression.
You were so convincing that I had to look.
That's true. I am pretty good at my vagina noises. You want to hear some more? Here we go. You ready? Here's one of a really excited lady. I don't know if you could hear that in the microphone. But it just sounds like you're smacking 2 wet steaks together, and then you're just like kind of rubbing. It's like Gary's noise from SpongeBob, the little
Meow.
when he's without the cat noise. I mean, unless yours has a squeaking problem. Oh, I guess that is what a queef could be. Oh, could you imagine banging somebody and all you hear is meow, and then it's just like, do you own a cat? And she's just like, no. And you just look down and you're like, oh, okay. Somebody needs to oil those hinges, I see. Dead or Alive would be a good movie? Yeah, but there's not that many actresses with huge tits that aren't just like porn actresses. So I can't really agree with that. Oh, well, I mean, Dead or Alive,
Why
the
can't you
porno
just
would be
cast
good.
from there? It's a very open pool.
Have you seen their acting abilities?
I've seen a man dress up as a lamp, sell me, put me through every emotion under the sun. I, I'm complete
Do
after
you
watching
do
that
do
one.
you remember the guy who said sometimes I pull so hard I rip the skin?
No.
Oh, you
Is
don't
that
remember
Johnny
this?
Sins?
I don't want
Oh my
to.
god, this is no. You know what? I'll just play the audio through my microphone. I think somebody did a remix song of it.
You're not going to get a copyright claim for that, are you?
I don't think anybody's gonna copyright claim a gay porn intro parody song.
I think you'd be surprised.
You know what? If they do, good for them. All right, here we go. I'll play it.
You mind if I wait here? Looks like you ain't got much choice. I sure hope you ain't going for no chainsaw.
I like how they just have like
shit, I'm
Tibetan
sorry.
like throat
Sorry
singing.
for what? Our daddy taught us not to be ashamed of our dicks, especially since they're such good size and all. Yeah, I see that. Your daddy gave you good advice. It gets bigger when I pull on it. Sometimes I pull on it so hard, I rip the skin. Well, my daddy taught me a few things too, like how not to rip the skin by using someone else's mouth instead of your own hands. Will you show me? I'd be right happy to.
The worst part about that was the fact that he said, "My dad taught me how to use somebody else's mouth to not rip the skin." His dad was fucking Jared Fogle. He was the first victim. Fucking Epstein was showing him how to keep his skin from ripping.
If I got a job writing those, I would have so much fun.
Did you see
There's
Moist
so many
Criticals?
possibilities.
Did you see Big Papa Charlie's porno that he wrote? Oh my fucking god. It's a slapper. It's fucking great. Because in his little charity stream where he made like $100,000 for charity, he had Jacksepticeye read out one of the parts too. So they did a full on reading of this porno, and it is chef's kisses. It is top tier. I almost came just from listening to it. It was like, what's that movie that had Neil Patrick Harris in it? Like, he was like the fantastical, mystical. He was the Mr. Magoo's Glorious Emporium or some shit.
I have no Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
No, that's Johnny Depp.
No.
Oh, what is it called? It's something Emporium. No.
I know what you're thinking.
Oh,
of,
Mr.
I can't-
Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
That's
I know
it.
That. It's a kids movie.
What did I
dude.
call it? Mr. Magoo's Coming in You? What did I call it?
I don't-
Anyway, it's like if somebody took that movie, but nobody wore clothes, and it like turned into a murder mystery. But you're like trying to solve the crime while fucking people. It's top notch. I wouldn't know
so
whether
it's
to just.
Scooby Doo, but just
It's
like,
Scooby
what's
Doo
his
me.
name? Ted, Ned, whatever his name's perspective.
It's literally
Always
just
like,
Scooby Doo
Me and Daphne will take the bedroom.
Oh, Fred. Yeah.
You guys.
Fred Fox.
Yeah, Fred. That's
Fred
it.
Fox.
He literally did.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Daphne became a lesbian quickly after. Velma was like the closeted hottie though. Like you knew she was packing some serious melons under those sweatshirts. She just wore those shirts to keep Fred from raping her. She just really didn't want to deal with his micro penis because Daphne kept telling her about the experiences. That's why she just made herself look as bookwormy as she could, whereas Fred's just like, come here, Daphne.
I will never.
I'll
watch
get to you when
Scooby-Doo.
I'm finished with her.
I will never watch Scooby Doo the same way again.
Well, this is when you find out that Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are actually lovers. I mean,
Oh my.
Okay, tell me this. If you found out your dog could speak English, would that make you more or less likely to put peanut butter on your dick?
Oh my god! Imagine that.
All the hard-hitting
Consent
questions.
now, so
Yeah, what if he wanted you
the
to
animal
put the
rights
peanut butter?
activists will have to shut up for that one.
Any pitas in the house? Ooh, that sounded awful. It sounded like I said any pedos in the house. Anybody from PETA here that can verify that if the dog can speak English, it's okay to put nut butter on your nuts?
I think that comes down to like a moral quandary at that
You sounded
point.
like Jimmy Neutron's friend. What the hell was that?
Which one?
You sounded like the rotund one. Jimmy's mom.
That's
Oh, I thought you were
I
talking
want to
about
bang
Gene.
Jimmy's mom.
the croissant kid. Croissant.
Does
He's the
he
best
have it on
character.
the
He has
list?
the most depth.
I don't. Well, I mean, he definitely has a lot more girth than all the other characters. The only thing
Hey,
bigger
That's
than
true.
him is Jimmy Neutron's brain.
At least
I don't know how that kid
guys,
stands, dude. It's got to be like a 30-pound weight. Imagine that just taped to your forehead.
His
and
father
trying to,
inserted a titanium rod into his ass to keep him upright.
at least Sheen got a spin-off.
Charlie Sheen got a spinoff?
No, Sheen from Jimmy Neutron. The
Oh.
all
It's like a
kid.
Better Call Saul.
He
of,
got
I
Jimmy
thought
Neutron.
Charlie
Spin-off
Sheen was going to be
show.
in a Jimmy Neutron movie, and I was like, what the fuck? What kind of casting is that?
well, that can
Good
happen
casting.
too.
You know what? I would love to see a Jimmy Neutron movie with Charlie Sheen and Adam Sandler. I feel like that would just be the right amount of what the fuck. It would be like this generation's version of the Mario Brothers movies from the 80s. Because it's like, it shares the same name, but none of it would be the same. Jimmy Neutron's like some sort of meth head now who like went all Walter White, and that'll be Charlie Sheen's character. And then fucking Adam Sandler's just his close friend that wanted to bang Jimmy's mom. And then he's just like grown up to, he like became Jimmy's stepdad because his mom was actually a weird pedo. So she was like banging his friend well before she should have. So then the father found out and they got a divorce. And then she married her son's best friend, and then there's a huge dynamic where that's where he ended up becoming a meth dealer, and that's why he's got such a problem, and that's why he's Charlie Sheen.
You got this all figured out, haven't you?
That was all improv, man. you
they're
gave
just
me the Jimmy Neutron and the Charlie Sheen, and I just went with it.
I just put Charlie Sheen on set and like, go. And he bangs out the character with
Gives half the
pinpoint
cast
accuracy.
HIV. Because he's got AIDS. He's got that HIV, baby. Oh. The only thing positive in Charlie Sheen's life is his HIV status.
Oh, no.
Oh man, he takes more pills on a daily basis than any man in existence, because not only is he taking his medication, he's also probably taking morphine, opiates, fentanyl, all that other shit just to keep himself pumping.
It's literally the Wolf of Wall Street, like
I don't even
opening
think
speech.
I don't even think
Like
they could keep up. Wall Street people are probably envious of him. They're just like, we sold him a brick yesterday and he's already gone. It's like what are his lungs made out of? He's the Steve-O of cocaine. Have either of you watched the Steve-O documentary?
No, all I
Oh.
know is that he started a podcast, and it made no sense to me because I thought the most messed up part of that man was his weird voice.
Nope.
And it's like
Nope.
you're going to rely solely off of that to do your content.
Did you
now.
know he doesn't actually use his vocal cords? He only uses the muscles in his neck to speak. Yeah, that's why
No
his
way.
voice is all fucked up. He doesn't know how to use his
That's what-
vocal cords.
He doesn't know how?
No, he's never used his vocal cords. He's always just straightened his voice with his neck.
Oh my
What a
God.
Chad.
I
What a
know, right?
Chad.
And like the reason he thought his voice was all fucked up was because he did I think it was 100 cans of Whippets a month. Yeah, in the documentary, you see him just doing Whippet after Whippet. There's a scene in the documentary where he's got a full thing of the Whippet thing, and he's just injecting it into his mouth, and it runs out, and he just flicks it out, puts in a new one, like he's reloading in Call of Duty, and just keeps going. And I'm like, how the fuck? This dude's got
Every
sleight of
once in a while.
hand.
Every once in a while, he'll hit one of those special reloads like in Battlefield.
Gives him a 20% higher high. But his entire floor was all just Whippet canisters. And the cameraman who was filming his little weird vlog at the time couldn't even move anywhere because there was just all Whippet cans. So you just get a broad panorama of all these Whippets. And I think he said once he finished Jackass, he probably spent close to $1 million just on Whippets. And he tried to kill his neighbors, and he almost killed himself by jumping off his balcony because he was high all the time. And he went into rehab, and that's what finally got him all settled. But finding out the weird shit about him, like, he's a crazy motherfucker. Like, I want to be friends with him just because of the stories that he has. I don't know if I'd want to personally, like, go out with him, because I would be afraid that he'd start a fire, shoot up a school, murder a person, and then just call it Jackass, the next movie. Like, he's that kind of fucked up, but he's a lot nicer now. Ever since he got sober, he was a lot nicer. But man, that documentary is so worth watching. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. It's on YouTube. It's low quality because it was filmed in like 2009, but if you want a good documentary, watch Steve-O's. Oh, that man's been through some shit. Because, like, you find out his mother's, like, a rabid alcoholic who, like, let him start drinking when he was 6.
Jeez.
It's fucked. How he ended up so normal is actually kind of strange.
Well, I've always wondered. Oh, go on.
Oh, I was going to say I should probably get off. It's kind of getting late for me.
Fair enough. I just figured I'd let you keep going until you wanted to leave.
Oh.
But no, it was nice having you on for the podcast. It's another great one. I'm sure we'll arrange for you to be on another one in the future.
Most likely.
Yeah, no, it was nice having you on.
Kind of sucks that I don't know if you guys are going to keep going or not.
I'm not sure. How about you, Jimothy? What are you thinking?
I'm good to keep going. If you want to end, I'm also fine with that.
I feel like I could go
I'm totally
a little
gonna
bit
keep
longer.
going if you want.
Okay. I guess I'll get off right. So.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, you could always watch it later, but it was nice having you on, Sarah. You have yourself a great night, and your glasses look great, by the way.
Thank you. At least you noticed.
I did notice. I forgot to mention it, but I did notice.
I was going to ask, and then I also forgot.
All right, then I don't feel bad. All right, well, you have yourself a great night, Sarah. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Night, Sarah.
All right.
Yeah, I could never figure out how they possibly bring themselves to, like, jump off roofs and stuff. But if he's just hitting whippets all the time, it's like he's probably just doing that anyway.
Oh, he almost did. In the I think it was in the documentary. I can't remember if it was in a documentary or if it was in Jackass. That's how fucked up the documentary was. If you can't remember if it's part of Jackass or the documentary, you're just like, I don't know. There was a moment where he was standing on his balcony, and it was just on the railing, balancing, like, back and forth, holding a bottle of vodka and a Whippets canister, and he's just yelling off of his balcony, "I'm gonna kill myself!" Then he does a whippet and chugs some vodka and, like, almost falls off, but then he just steps down and go back to his couch and start doing more whippets. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this man? He's 10 stories in the air. That's not, like, even leg break distance. That's full on death.
But he's a smart guy to have walked away. He realized that if he killed himself, he wouldn't be able to do more whippets.
I think he just
he's
fell
got one
off.
life priority.
I think he just fell off the wrong direction. I think he thought he was going forward, but he fell backwards. That's honestly what I think was happening. I don't give him enough credit for him to be in that state of mind. I don't give him enough credit to even know where he was. For all I know, he thought he was in Star Trek. Like, he was Captain Kirk, and he was about to go on another adventure to fuck some being nobody's ever seen before. Okay, that's another thing I have a problem with Star. I like how I'm going from Steve-O to Star Trek now. This is how my brain works. I make one connection, and then my brain's like, yeah, that's really weird, right? Like, I like how Star Trek, the entire premise of the show is William Shatner gets attracted to an alien and wants to fuck it. That's the whole point of the show. And he's trying to make it equal rights by banging everything he can see. He's Commander Shepard before Commander Shepard. Instead of Will Bang, okay? It's, I'm William Shatner. Please shit on me.
We wouldn't have it any other way, though.
No, well, I don't know.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I guess William Shatner is probably the best person we could pick for that role. I mean, okay. Do you know who Richard Simmons is?
I've heard the name.
Oh.
Every time I think of someone, I'm like, okay, can I think of what he looks like?
He was that, like,
And I don't know what he
exercise
looks like.
guy who always wore, like, the super flamboyant leotard with the curly hair in the 90s. 80s and 90s. He was always, like, working out with older women, and he was just like, okay, let's jazzercise. Here we go. Work those thighs. That's just kind of how he was. I don't. Hey, that actually rhymed. Damn. All right. I haven't had enough beer, clearly. But he ended up being a huge pervert. Not like the pedo kind, but like just a regular pervert. Thankfully, for once, it's a Hollywood star who was only interested in people shitting on glass tables while he laid underneath them. Like that's
so much better.
You know what? Honestly, it's better than diddling kids. If you're gonna pay little twink Asian boys to shit on glass tables, go for it, man. If that's what you're into,
Totally.
and they're over 18, by all means, give them some Taco Bell and let that chocolate fudge fly. Nobody cares as long as they're legal. And like the funny thing is, I always assumed he was some kind of massive pervert, not like just because he was gay or anything like that. I thought he was just into some weird shit, and it turns out he was just into shit. So it was like, oh, that's right. But like, it's interesting because you could literally get that perspective of people so easily. Like, when you look at Mr. Rogers, right? You would never think he was a pedo. And he wasn't. Like, he never was. And that was just because, like, even though he worked as a children's entertainer, he didn't like give off that
Entertain children.
yeah, like he just didn't give off that air of being somebody who would ever go out of their way to harm a child mentally or physically. But then you look at the guy who played Barney, and he was always hugging children on set, rubbing their heads and doing stuff without like with a voiceover playing over him. I always had a weird feeling about him, like that body language whenever he would get into the playground. He just seemed a little out of character excited about being there, you know? He just seemed like, oh, yes, it's time to love Barney! And then turns out, guess what? I guess you diddled some of the kids. It was Barney. He loved them a little too much.
Yeah, I don't. And there's always people like what's his name? Not Harvey Weinstein.
Oh yes,
What's
Weinstein.
the guy using Baby
Epstein.
Driver or whatever?
Oh, Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey. I didn't quite see that one coming.
Oh,
will
I
admit.
totally did. As soon as you're a character actor, there's got to be something fucked up with you. If you could get into a character so well that you become that character, it's the same thing as being a serial killer to me. Because serial killers have to get into the character of being a normal person after they murdered somebody. So if you're that good of a character actor, you got some skeletons in your closet, and if not skeletons, you got a little 14-year-old boy who doesn't want to be there. And that was Kevin Spacey's problem. He's probably listening to this podcast right now because it's the first time somebody's mentioned him in the last 5 years.
Is he in prison?
No, he's just at home. Because the kid is, I think it was out of, what's the word for when it's no longer able to be charged? It was out of, oh, fuck. I think it starts with an S.
I don't know.
Well, anyways, it was past the point where he could be charged for it.
So he got away.
Pretty much. So essentially, because like if he was like every other predator in the world and took photos and videos of it, they could charge him for possession. But because it was so far away from the time that it happened, because I think it happened in the 90s, and I think there's only like a 10-year span where you can be charged for that particular crime. It ended up with him basically just being shunned by the Hollywood community, which is funny because 95% of the people shunning him are actually people that probably do the exact same thing. So it's just like,
Yeah,
it's like, oh, okay, well, you're probably no better. Like, I hate to say it, but there's probably nobody in Hollywood that's ever not thought about fucking a kid. And I think I can say that without getting sued.
Yeah, I always whenever you say stuff, I always rack my brain. I'm like, what's one? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't find one. Literally all of them.
Yeah, like the thing is like, can you think of one person who wouldn't? I'm like, yeah, I could think of like a handful of people that probably wouldn't diddle kids or underage people. I probably shouldn't say kids because like I'm including anybody that's under the age of 18. Like, look at Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld was going out with somebody who was 17 in the 90s. And this is when his show was the most popular. She was just graduating high school. And I think she was 17 at the time. Yeah. Because I remember that. And then what happened? I think he went out with her for a little while and then they broke it off. but she was underage that entire time. It was very well known within the Hollywood community, and nobody cared.
Wow, I've never heard of that. They keep that under wraps.
I'm almost
I can
certain
see
it's
Chris
true.
Pratt though.
Chris Pratt's
I
a
don't
Jesus boy,
believe
though.
That Chris Pratt, well, you know what they say about boys of Jesus.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he
But-
most likely would diddle kids.
I don't know. He just seems like too cool of a guy. You know? He's just too cool.
I don't know. I know I'm risking being sued here, but I don't know. I think he's got some children in his closet.
I can definitively say, based on the evidence, that I know it. I know he is.
You know what? I know how
That's
I can
what
get
you're saying.
away from being sued. I'll say it as Donald Trump.
I'll tell you this right now. I'll tell you this really long, real hard. Chris Pratt is probably, just gonna say this, one of those people that went with me to Epstein's Island. Just saying. Frankly, he was probably wrist deep in all the people under 15. They called him Jim Henson.
Oh, no. Kermit, no.
You know, I feel like we've been on the subject. It's weird how this has just flowed, but every time it touches back on this.
Well, it's
I don't know,
because
I'm,
it's
like,
so
saying it out
recent,
loud.
too. Like, look at EDP. I probably wouldn't bring this up if EDP wasn't a pedophile. But he brought the trend back. Like, pedophilia
He
was...
just wanted a cupcake, man.
Is that what her
Look at
nickname
him.
was? That's true. He probably hasn't seen his dick in 10 years. But that's the thing though. Is like pedophilia comes in waves. I couldn't even say the rest of that sentence without cracking up. But it's true, right? Like look at Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen had his popular show in the early 2000s. It got canceled. He went away for like 6 years because he cheated on his wife with somebody who was of questionable age. And yeah.
I swear to God, it's what are you contagious? It's contagious.
Yeah. I was about to be like, he's
You're
not
in so many.
miscongeniality. But like, he disappeared for like 5 years because of that controversy. And then he came back with Hansen versus Predator. And then he got some of his best Predator clips from that. And I was like, this is amazing. Thank you, fat Chris Hansen. Because this is back when he was fat because he was drinking all the time and very depressed. So he had an even like harder time dealing with the pedos because he just wasn't having any other shit. Like as soon as they came in, like one of the ones that I remember being the funniest is this guy named Jeff Sokol. This guy comes in, looks like your every day like Armenian dude, comes in with a fucking large pizza. And he's just like, can I get a hug? Do you want to sign this contract of marriage to the decoy? So that way he could fuck her. And then Chris Hansen just like comes in and he's just like, so what's this contract all about? Mm-hmm. Do you think you're clever there, boy? Do you think you're clever? Do you think you're, why don't you take a seat over there? Do you think you're clever about this contract? Because it's having sex with a 13-year-old girl. A 13-year-old. You think it's okay to have sex with a 13-year-old? The amount of times you just like see him super focused on it. This guy goes and sits at the fucking stool, opens the pizza and starts eating a slice. The guy's just having a casual day eating a slice of pepperoni while getting chewed out from fucking Chris Hansen about being a pedophile. And he even offers him a
He's
slice.
just having his last meal, man.
Oh yeah, he offered Chris Hansen a slice. Like that.
I know exactly the guy
Oh,
you're talking about.
you know the
Yeah.
one? That one was great. That was his best clip ever because it's this overly arrogant dude who's like, Chris Hansen doesn't exist anymore. There's no way he brought back his show. Walked right in on the show. And
I always love
Jelly
the
Duck
ones where
makes
it's
a
like
good
some
point. He
guy-
did try to expose Onision too, which he successfully did.
Yeah. I like the ones where people walk in on it twice and they're like, I knew it was going to happen again, but I had to do it anyway.
Do you remember the McDonald's
just-
one? Like one of the oldest ones, the naked Predator came in and he like took off all his clothes and like walked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they like gave him a
Yeah.
towel. So like the best part about that clip is literally at the end of that person's clip, you see Chris Hansen walking up to a McDonald's where the guy was waiting to meet another one. And the guy's just like, no, I was just here to get a Happy Meal. I was just here for food. And then Chris Hansen's like, well, then why am I here? And he's like, you're here for food. You're here for food. You want to eat. You having food. I'm here for food. We're here for food. I'm not here for kids. Chris Hansen's just like, Why did I bring the camera crew then? Huh? And he's just like, I don't know. Maybe you wanted to film, you wanted to eat your food. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? This poor McDonald's.
Every time they're like, they always give them like a really specific order, like no pickles on this hamburger, so that they can say like, oh, it's him, it's totally him because he brought a burger with no pickles. And I love the thought that one of these times, I'll bet you, when it came to convicting them, they were like, there's actually extra pickles on this hamburger. And some freaking McDonald's worker saved a pedophile from conviction by putting extra pickles instead of no pickles.
Oh, that's true. They probably did. Oh, speaking of really like trolly things to probably do to a pedo, this would have been the fucking most amazing troll if Chris Hansen ever did it. All right, get this. You get the decoy to tell him to pick up a pizza that you're going to order over the phone, to have it be brought over to the house, right? But when you call them, you just like, I want the pepperoni to spell out I'm a pedo on the pizza. So that when he brings it, Chris Hansen just comes in and opens the pizza and he's just like, can you read this for me? And he just reads, I'm a pedo. And he's like, case closed. And then slams the pizza closed and walks away. That would be fucking amazing. That'd be top tier troll.
That would be great.
You know what? Let's start a channel. We'll call it Chris. Well, I mean, you know what? I do have the first name Chris. Do you have a middle name that rhymes with Hansen? Manson?
No.
We could team up with Marilyn Manson. We'll have him confront the pedophiles as they come in.
Just asking them these like big questions.
He wouldn't even be able to fucking read the questions because he's so fucking high. He's just gonna be like, so why are you here? And then the guy's gonna be like, I'm here to meet somebody. He's like, we're all here to meet somebody. Who? Oh fuck. That'd be you know what? Hansen versus Manson. I'd love to see that. Why wasn't that in Celebrity Deathmatch?
I feel like if you offered to commute his sentence, Chris Manson. Wait.
No. Charles Manson. Charles Manson's dead.
Manson.
He's dead.
But Charles, that's the serial killer.
Yeah,
right?
he died years ago.
Are you mad? Are you
close?
And then he starts dancing in courtroom and stuff.
Yeah, he's the one with the swastika on his forehead.
Yeah.
Oh, we should email Dan Schneider. He's the one that made Rick and Morty, right? We should have them make an intergalactic television show called Hansen versus Manson, and it's just a celebrity death match of Chris Hansen versus Charles Manson.
Dan Schneider is also a pedo.
No, he just likes
not
feet.
the one you're thinking of.
Is he not
he's the
one?
Nickelodeon guy. No, he's the Nickelodeon guy.
Oh, you're right. That is the right. Wait, then who? What's the name of the dude who did Rick and Morty? It's Dan
know.
something.
I don't watch Rick and Morty.
Ah, shit.
Dan. Probably look it up. Rick and Morty guy. Dan Harmon?
That's it. We got to email
J.
Dan
Michael
Harmon.
Mendel?
Dan
Harmon, that's probably...
Allegedly. Well, I mean, I don't really care. What's he going to do? Sue me with his Nickelodeon money? He clearly wasn't paid very well. But I'll say allegedly just in case, because I don't want to pay for lawyers. Anyway, it'd be cool if we could email... Like, you remember the claymation show Celebrity Deathmatch in, like, the early 2010s?
Yeah.
That was a fucking banger. We need to tell Dan Harmon to bring back Celebrity Deathmatch, like his version of it, but for Chris Hansen versus Marilyn Manson versus Charles Manson in a 3-way triple death match in Intergalactic Commercials 5 or whatever they're on. And I guarantee you it would be the best part of that season. People would just be like, just bring us this show. I'd love to see Chris Hansen just fucking beat the shit out of Marilyn Manson and Charles Manson.
I feel like Chris Manson would try to talk his way out of that situation.
Charles
or
Manson.
Chris Hansen.
Oh,
he wouldn't want to fight. He'd be like,
he'd
fight each other first.
He'd be
There's
like,
a reason why you should fight each other instead of me.
Yeah, he would try to use like the mental tactics, but then he'd also kind of be like Ash Ketchum, where he'll like throw a child at one of them to see which one of them gets distracted, and then he'd take a sucker punch to one of them.
He's just got his backup child. That's,
Oh, and he calls the
He
move
totally
the
didn't
decoy.
acquire
He
my
just
illicit
throws one of his
means.
decoys on stage. Quickly, distract him while I get away. Chris Hansen out of here. Oh, fuck.
versus Marilyn Monroe. That would be
Oh,
another good one.
inclusivity. I like it. All of them are basically dead. One of them's just dead inside, but that's close enough. Marilyn Manson versus Charles Manson versus Marilyn Monroe. That's such a good casting. I like that. Do you think JFK is gonna at one point Marilyn Monroe gets punched in the face and JFK just orders a nuclear strike on the ring? I can't let her get hit. My honor rests on it. We're not going to have a
weird to
Bay of
think,
Pigs
though.
here again.
What were you saying? Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, I was making a joke about the Bay of Pigs.
I don't know. All these weird, obscure historical events. Like, I'm just like,
I don't know why I know them.
So I don't even know what it is. I've just heard of
So
it.
the Bay of Pigs was an invasion in Cuba, I believe, during the whole missile crisis thing, and JFK fucked it up by not providing enough support, so everybody he sent there died. So it is known as his biggest blunder. And then he got
Didn't
shot in
Winston
the head.
Churchill get like politically wrecked by his equivalent of that? Like
Yeah.
his little.
But Winston Churchill's a cunt. And he knew he was.
He is a Chad of the highest order.
Yeah, but I'm a cunt. And I'm also a Chad.
That's why it's written on the goddamn desk.
Exactly. So I'm the same as Winston Churchill. I'd be smoking my cigar as I kill Hitler too. Do you know what would have been the most badass thing for Winston Churchill to do? Is if near the end of it and they figured out where Hitler was, he was just like, call off the troops. I'm going in. And he just puts the cigar in his mouth and he's in the fighter pilot jet and he just gets there and executes him. This one's for Britain. And then he just puts... Why did I turn him into Price from fucking Call of Duty?
I will say, dude, him with a freaking Tommy gun is like the most kick-ass British thing I've ever seen.
It would be the closest
so
thing
cool.
to... oh, what's his name? Oh my god. I'm so mad that I don't know this mobster's name. Al
Capone.
Capone, that's it. Yes. It'd be like the most British Al Capone thing you could do. Is you just walk into battle and you're like, all right, mate, here we go. Going dark. And then you just fucking eliminate the Nazis. And he's like 65 years old, probably couldn't even run a mile because of his smoking habits. But he's still annihilating them left and right, like with the British vigor of the royal family. Queen Elizabeth's going to give him a handy later. I'm going to get my rocks off with the Queen. Man, my British accent sucks.
It's like that,
It's
that
so
zombies
cartoony.
mission. Where you get to be JFK, Fidel Castro, and...
I
Yeah,
think that you have a fantastic aim with that there gun there, Castro.
and Nixon. Someone's breaking in.
I
Why do they
remember
just
that
make him
mission.
sound insane at every turn.
Well, that's because Nixon is. Nixon literally is just insane.
A little bit.
If he was alive to this day, he'd probably just be like standing behind Donald Trump at the podium going, I'm not a criminal either.
He's just in politics still for no reason. Just like, no one likes him, but they keep him around. Just cause.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if you're paying him $400,000 a year anyway just for existing, you might as well get your best bang for your buck out of him.
We got to get these C-SPAN ratings up. Okay?
What's- okay.
C-SPAN is now the new TMZ. Okay.
I
That'd be
gotta
the
ask
best.
this about your fucking country. Why is it every president just gets set for life after becoming president? And why do they even bother doing a second term if they're set for life?
Because it's fun, I guess.
I don't think
know.
being a president is fun. Barack Obama went from being sexy to old real quick.
That is true. You watch them walk out, and it's like they've aged 20 years.
Yeah, and it's only been 8. Like, he walked in there being like, Michelle, we're going to bang on the White House floor. To, Michelle, please get me my slippers. I'm very cold. Like, that's what's happened. He went from being stiff all the time to being lucky if he gets it once a month.
I don't know. I guess people are just willing to pay like 40 grand to have him do a 10-minute speech.
Yeah, but why do we have to
When
pay
you have
him?
that kinda-
Why do you guys have to pay him $400,000 a year until he dies?
I don't. Is that a thing?
Yeah, every president gets
What?
$400,000 a year until they die. Plus, they get secret security until they die too, and free health.
Well, I know that they've got Secret Service, but
Yeah, no,
I
you
want
get
$400,000
almost
a
$500,000 a year until the day you die. Why do you think like none of the presidents ever got a job after being president? George Bush clearly didn't have the skills to do anything other than fuck up your country. So he wasn't going to become the first president to work at a McDonald's drive-thru.
well, I feel like someone would like try to assassinate him in some creative way if these presidents ever tried to work again. I don't know what does a president do all day?
Masturbate.
Just like, I mean, there's that.
If you're in the Oval Office, I mean, if I was a political person that wanted to get into the Oval Office and it was my lifelong dream, the first thing I'd do when I was in there is beat it. I'd call
Established dominance.
I'd call up Putin and I'd be like, you know what I'm doing right now? Yeah, that's right. I'm jacking it, and you're listening to it, and all he's hearing is what das vidanya? What the happened here? Who are you? Why you call? This is president number. President number.
That's why they got to switch out the desk every year, dude.
Oh yeah, it's like getting gum stuck
They've
to
got
the bottom of the
sand a
desk.
layer off of the top.
That desk keeps getting thinner, unlike the president's. Oh man, that would be like the ultimate insider story. Like CNN shouldn't have been reporting on all of Donald Trump's foibles. I want to hear about who masturbated in the Oval Office. Like it's like CNN becomes BuzzFeed. Like which cum stain are you? Take this quiz to find out where you've been spewed in the Oval Office.
You go in there and the first thing you notice is the smell.
Eucalyptus and bleach.
What does it smell like? Metal.
Why is it? Wait, whoa! Does your cum smell like
Particularly high iron content,
metal? Ooh,
evidently.
why is it so bloody? What do you do to yourself?
What don't I?
You're like I'm proficient in sounding with razor blades.
Yeah, presidential activities. They've got to be doing some weird stuff that we don't know of. And there's like just some Secret Service agent who's like, the stories I could tell.
As like a red dot slowly moves towards his head.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, but I won't because I signed a contract. That little laser starts lowering like a Family Guy joke. I like the idea of that happening.
I want to imagine there's some like little club they go to or something afterwards where they all just sit around and talk about like
there totally is. It's the Illuminati. But it's like
Cuba up to.
But it's like Illuminati, but spelt like Naught, like they're naughty. Welcome to the Illuminati. And then it's just like a remix of like the X-Files theme song on repeat, and they're just like dancing to it. Ooh. Oh, wait, that's not the X-Files.
Like a shitty retirement, dude. I don't know. If I was a president, I'd be cool. I'd be like, hey, how much to buy the tank limousine, and just trick it out as like a pimp mobile.
Oh.
And just roll around town with your freaking recreational tank, just being cool.
Arnold Schwarzenegger already beat them to it, though.
Arnold Schwarzenegger would what?
Arnold Schwarzenegger already beat them to it. He already has his recreational tank.
Well, that's a tank. I mean,
would you rather roll up to Taco Bell in a tank, or would you rather roll up to Taco Bell in a tank limousine?
That limousine tank has a minigun that comes out of it, okay? I'm not complaining about either one.
I mean, that is a good point.
The limo's road legal.
Oh,
but
so is the tank.
Is only road legal until they catch you.
Well, I mean, who's going to chase a tank?
They will try.
There's that one cop who's like, we'll get you this time, Arnold.
I still love the story about that guy who went on like a rampage with his little homemade tank, like the Killdozer. You heard of this?
No, but this sounds
And
amazing. It sounds like something out of
at
Dead
what?
Rising.
Okay, so there's this guy, right? And he's a machinist by trade, or he's like a mechanic. And this he wants to build a road from his little shop to the main road over there. He's got it, and it goes through some bit of property he technically doesn't own or technically isn't zoned. The city comes down on him for it. He's super pissed off. Long story short, he's in like years of litigation with them. They take everything from him, and at the end of the day, he can't even build a road from his store to the road. So what does he do? He spends an entire year slowly putting together from scratch a literal tank,
I like this
takes it
guy.
out of the shop, and, and just wrecks the town. Everyone who wronged him, he just destroys the courthouse, destroys some buildings, and eventually it gets stuck. But this man had like bulletproof glass. He had little cameras that aim out. Insane. The governor almost had like deployed an attack helicopter to shoot Hellfire missiles at it and destroy it before they decided that that might not be the best idea.
This honestly sounds
But-
like the school shooter that got expelled before he could like perform his mass shooting. So he kept it all bottled up until he could build a tank and fuck up his town.
The man had people come into his shop and just see it, and they're like, "Oh, that's kind of cool. A nice little project you got there."
He's like,
And just
"Where do
say
you live
nothing.
again?" The guy's just like, I live in Canada. I don't live here anymore." He's like packing up immediately that night. "Honey, we gotta go. I went to this dude's place. He has a fucking tank. We're getting out of here before shit gets real."
He has a tank and the attitude to use it. It's the attitude that matters. If you have just a tank and you are a law-abiding citizen, I'd imagine it wouldn't be much of a problem. But then you get that one guy who's just like, "Hey, I got an extra 150 grand to spare. Let's
Just
just
spare.
to spare. Let's go out in a blaze of fury." But I guess it's basically just a vehicle. You can just buy tanks as long as the gun doesn't work. It's not technically like military surplus if there's no guns on it. It's just a very large car. So
I mean, Tesla
Okay.
could steal the idea and maybe their car wouldn't break with a fucking iron ball bearing.
the electric tank.
Oh man, could you imagine if
It's
that
a
fucking
green
took off?
mean machine.
Man, I've lost so much respect for Elon Musk though, ever since he was on SNL. Like, I know the guy's a billionaire and doesn't have to work, but that doesn't mean you gotta like pander to 89-year-old women who don't know what Wario is. Mamma mia. Oh, brother Wario, why are you ruining my reputation? See, I already did more acting than he did, and he was in the show.
I just hate him. He's ruining my coin. I was like, okay, Dogecoin's cool. It's going up. It's fine. And then he goes on freaking SNL, calls it, what, like hustle? And now all the cryptos are down like 50% in the last 2 weeks. And I'm just,
The funny thing is that fucks
not
him over
laughing.
too. That fucks him over too because he owns $1.5 billion of Bitcoin. This guy does not
wow.
understand how crypto works.
boo-hoo. The man, the richest man alive, isn't he worth like 200 billion?
No, I don't even think he's in top 10 right now. Oh wait, no,
No.
he's
I
number
know
3.
he's
I
first.
think he's number 3 because Jeff Bezos is number 1.
Elon Musk net worth. Yeah. Oh, maybe
Yeah.
you're right. Okay, so Jeff Bezos,
Jeff Bezos is
With-
like 200 billion.
yeah, he's 189. Then there's this guy, Bernard Arnault.
But that's including his whole family.
182.
That's including his whole family though. That's an asterisk.
He's one of those.
Yeah, that's the
Musk is
Arnault family.
146.
Yeah. So he's number 3.
That's
Well,
a lot of
technically
money.
he'd be number 2 if they didn't include the entire family. Yeah, my cousin Jim, he works at the corner store. We're going to add another $45 to that net worth. That'll put you above Elon Musk. Oh, boy. I'm going to be fucking my cousin good tonight, Arnold. Why did I instantly go for cousin fucking?
I don't know.
What is with my
But it
brain?
worked.
I mean, I went full on redneck, and I'll tell you this right now. Here we go. I would gladly voice a character in the new King of the Hill. Settle down, Larry. My name's not Larry. Larry. Oh
You
shit,
could
that is
star
Larry
in
the
a
Cable
spin-off.
Guy.
There's a totally Larry the Cable Guy. I'm here to tell you that I sucked Jeff Foxworthy off just to get a job. Used to be a cable guy, now I'm mater, and I don't mate with anybody. Mater gets mated.
Absolutely. 100% Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that ended up turning into Larry the Cable Guy. I didn't know what I was until Oz pointed it out. But yeah, that's very much Larry the Cable Guy. Eat Prilosec. Consume
Eat
Prilosec.
it.
Consume it. Eat it. Worship it. You know you want it. Do you watch a lot of Game Grumps?
Me, no. I never got it. I never got into it. I remember I watched their office tour or something at one point, and I was like, how do they afford this? I watched their viewership, and it's like 100,000 views a video or something. They're coming out with one every day.
Way
and I'm
more.
like,
They get it. They're getting like a consistent million views a day just off one channel. And like all their other
How many
channels
do
are
they
like
have?
they have 4, I think, and all of them bring in at least 1 million views a day.
Jesus.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
like there's good parts to Game Grumps, and it's mostly their live action stuff. Their gameplay shit is okay, but it's basically just what everybody else does, just not as good. I know I'm saying that about one of the biggest channels on YouTube, but their live action shit is great. Like if you watch, I'm actually going to recommend this to you. Just watch the best of the 10-minute Power Hour, and I think you'll understand why they're successful. Because their improv comedy is quite good. Like even Osmodeus agrees with me. Their gameplay shit has gone way downhill. Completely agree. And that's because they had to get rid of Super Mega for editing. So because Super Mega was
Yeah.
getting way too big to be able to edit for other channels as well as their own. So that's why I watch Super Mega now, because I'm getting the old Game Grumps feel, but with the new personalities and people I can relate to more because they're actually my age. But like Aaron and Dan are interesting in the 10-minute Power Hour. Like even Osmodeus says 10-minute Power Hour is the best because it's literally just an hour of improv comedy. You'll have special guests like the people from Stranger Things. You'll have Super Mega on there. You'll have Jacksepticeye. And it's like the weirdest mix of improv scripted humor I've ever seen. Because like you can never tell if it's scripted or if it's improv, and if they're just going with it or if it's all on the fly. And yeah, like whoever's editing it, which was Super Mega at the time, was doing such a great job with the editing that like Tucker, Matt, and Ryan, they nailed it. They are the reason that Game Grumps is even still successful to this day. Because when John left and Dan took over, yes, there was a transitional period where there wasn't as many views or anything like that. But when Super Mega started editing it, their views went from, I think it was like 10 or 15 million a month to like 30 or 40 million views a month. So that editing style alone doubled what they were bringing in. And whoever taught Ryan and Matt how to edit, fucking kudos to them. Because it is seamless. The amount of extra farts that have been added into Game Grumps gameplay and shit just because they got tired of dealing with Dan being so prim and proper, so they just edited a fart. It's just so perfect. And they'll muffle it just enough so it seems real. Like they don't even make it seem super out of the ordinary. Like there's one specific clip I remember of Dan talking about him releasing one of his brand new songs that was like super emotional to him, and then once he brought that up, you just hear a little like poot, like a little poot, and like it's so muffled that you just think that it's part of the show, but everybody just didn't hear it and they kept it in. But it was literally Matt just editing in a little fart noise to make it seem funnier, and it's so perfect. Oh, it was from their Syndigo days. That's why. Okay, that explains a lot about their history. So that's why there's such a well-rounded group of editors and comedians, and they're just so derpy. Like if you like, do you watch Super Mega?
Yeah, I do. I used to watch Syndigo as well and stuff, and then when Daniel died, it was like
Yeah,
a little bit of a bummer.
yeah. Like that.
But
That's a
I liked-
tough one to get through.
I like that more definitely, but freaking editing is everything in a video. I love. I don't know. Do you know Too Mad?
Yes, he was in
I
their most
literally- I watched
recent
his
video.
videos. Yeah, I just watch his videos just for like the editing. He's so unique, and he's just always throwing in like garbage. It's so much K-pop hating, and I love
Dude,
it. It's fantastic.
Too Mad is Canadian too, right? The funniest thing,
so.
yeah, he's from Ottawa, and the funniest thing to me is I relate so much to Too Mad in terms of how my personality works. That it's just like, why is it every funny Canadian is just such a cunt? Like, why are we just such huge assholes? We're just the fucking worst. And I remember watching the Super Mega podcast with Too Mad because I was like, oh man, if that video was that messed up with just having Too Mad doing like standard old YouTube challenges, I can't wait to see what he's like in a podcast. This dude was looking through the Super Mega house for a gun so he can brandish it at the neighbors. Like, he was literally in the middle of the podcast. It was an hour in, and he's just like, you know what? I know you guys got a gun. I want it. I'm gonna go find it. And then Matt and Ryan were just like, come on, don't. You're a black guy in a predominantly white neighborhood, a wealthy white neighborhood. No, please. We don't want you to get shot. And he was just, I'm going to get shot, and then I'm going to shoot them. And then he just disappears from the podcast. And Matt and Ryan are just like, well, it's not a real gun, thankfully. It's an airsoft gun, but it looks really real. So our neighbors are probably still going to call the police. And all you hear in the background is Too Mad going, where is it? Where's the gun? And he's just going through the house looking through it. And then he eventually finds it. And then he just got bored and came back to the podcast. And I'm like, what is this? Does he have ADHD? He used to be really fat too, based on his titties.
Yeah. He has the funniest. He has my favorite fat accumulation out of anyone I've ever seen. There's no one who can accordion it quite like Too Mad.
Yeah, he's basically a Fat Albert character. Like, he somehow ended up looking like one of those characters from a cartoon. But like, I don't know how you could have such long titties when you're not that fat. Like, his titties, like, you remember those like 1920s bras that kind of looked like a pointed, like a witch's hat? That's what I feel like his titties were. And then somehow they just got like, somebody pricked it with a needle and they deflated. And then they're just like flat pointy titties. I don't understand. I hope I get to the point where one day I can ask Too Mad what's the deal with his titties. That's my goal right now. I want to be on Super Mega's podcast and I want to ask Too Mad about his boobies.
Do they have a podcast too?
Yeah, Super Mega Cast. And it's,
oh my God,
it's
everyone's
weird.
got a podcast now.
I know. I gotta keep riding the train. I know. I'm an asshole. But like, I would love, like, well, I will say this about Super Mega's podcast. It still falls under the same scripted yet improvisational brand of humor that they have, where everything is a bit. It's not like you're going into a podcast and you're like, oh, I'm going to learn more about these people. You go into it expecting an hour and 20 minutes of just bits upon bits. And it's just like, I don't know what's real anymore. I can't tell if he's married. I can't tell if he's had a kid. And then I like even had to Google it. I'm like, was Matt Watson married? And then they were like, yeah, he was married in 2010. I'm like, he was born in 1996. He was 14. And then like he came out and he was like, yeah, no, I was never actually married. I'm only 22. What the fuck? Oh. But like,
you had me going. I was believing you.
People believed it though. The biography, like the actual website with the biography, still has it up saying that he was married in 2010, but his date of birth was 1996. That makes him 14 fucking years old, and nobody edited that. Nobody looked at that and went, yeah, that seems a bit young. I don't know who would have married anybody like that unless it was at the Vatican Church, but like, don't you think the owner of that website would have been like, 14 seems a little young to be married? But then again, it is Hollywood. People get married at young ages. And if you're not married, they'll still touch you. So it kind of made sense.
Well, we want to believe it. Like, it's not like anyone's trying to pick it apart. We love it.
Well,
that's our favorite thing. That's why they exist.
I mean, he does seem broken enough where that could be the reason why he's so funny. Him and Ryan probably have some dark-seated past that turn them into the hilarious goobers that we know today. Although Ryan's hair is majestic. I have like a weird mix of their hair where my hair is like super thin but also voluminous.
Ryan is actually weirdly handsome.
I would fuck him.
It's just at one point he just changed and no one noticed him. It's just I remember
it's the hair. It's literally the hair. It has to be the hair because I remember watching the old 2016 Super Mega when he had short hair and I was like, he's just generic white guy. Turns out he wasn't even white. He's fucking half Middle Eastern. He's Palestinian.
Really?
Yeah, he's half Palestinian on his mother's side.
That's odd.
I know, I wasn't expecting that, but that's why his hair is so thick.
I've never seen anyone rock a man bun like he does. I don't know if it counts, but that is the closest best thing I've ever seen.
It's the only time I've ever recognized a man bun and was like, you know what? I'll let it slide. His hair, when he decided to grow it out, literally made women's panties 85% more humid. Like, even men probably are creaming at the sight of his hair. Like, that hair is luxurious. I don't understand how you can have such a thick head of hair and not want it constantly grown out.
It is majestic.
It like, look at Matt Watson's hair. He looks like a crackhead. He's got that bleach blonde look. He looks like he just left the set of a Borat film. His asshole's like all bleached and hurt from the next episode of Bruno or whatever movie he's gonna make next. Like, Matt just, poor Matt. he's so thin that even his hair is thin.
I was gonna say that man. He's like I know people who are just skinny, but he is like
He's a twig.
he's erring on like bulimic.
Well, he said he's 6'2" and he's 148 pounds.
He's 6'2".
Yeah, he's a tall boy.
I'm 6'3",
Yep.
and I'm like 160, and I'm not like. Anyway, I watched him. He's got this video on his personal channel of him just like lifting weights to like sad piano music, and then at one point he's got like this Walkman and like the legitimate VHS tape keeps falling out of it, and he has to like re-spool it. It's hilarious. But you start noticing when he's lifting weights, it's like, holy Christ, man, you need to see a doctor. You were too skinny.
Oh man, for some reason that brought me back to a sketch that I never released on YouTube, and it was probably one of my darker sketches that I ever made, because this was back when I was like 520 pounds. So I filmed a skit with me with this gigantic sandwich, because you know how you can get like those 3-foot subs from like anywhere,
Right.
So I got one of those, and I just filmed myself eating it and crying. And then I looked at my sandwich and I went, nobody loves me. Will you love me? And then I just start fucking it. And I was like,
What's this? It
was a sketch.
Where was this gonna go?
I don't know. Oh yeah, it was going to go on YouTube. Like, you don't see my dick. Like, it's just like a back view of like me just humping a sandwich and going,
I'm not sure how much better that is.
I mean, it was pretty funny. I just wish I could have uploaded. I wish I had the balls to upload it. It would have been so good. It's just me going, I should have added mayo. And
Don't even need the
that's
whole
literally
sandwich.
how it
I need
cuts.
like an 18.
That's where the cut is, though. It's literally just a back view of me going, I should have ordered with mayo. And then it just cuts. And I'm like, I don't think this would fly on YouTube. So I never posted it. And I regret it every day because it was fucking hilarious.
Post it now.
I mean, I'd have to redo it because I don't have it anymore. And it was like potato quality. We're talking like 2010 camcorder shit.
240p.
I think when I uploaded it, it came to like 480p. So it was like back in the day. So if I was to do it, I would totally redo it. But I already have some pretty fucked up things. You know what? I'll spoil it. I don't care. If anybody's listening to this, you're getting a sneak peek of what I'm going to be making with my green screen. So one thing I want to do is, because I have the green screen, I want to make a clip of myself jump scaring me, but it's actually going to jump scare you guys. So it's like me popping out behind me, so that I can like activate it whenever I want. So it's just a random me, like a Jack in the Box. And then I also want to set up something where if anybody ever tells me to go fuck myself, a little like green screen version of me lifts its head from my lap and just looks at you and wipes its mouth and then walks away. I'm like, yeah, that'll probably get me banned off Twitch, but it's all implied. So I think I can get away with it. If people can body paint on Twitch with little pasties on their nipples, I feel like I can imply that I've blown myself. But now that I have this green screen, I can do that kind of shit. Like I would to play the flute with my butthole to Darude Sandstorm with the recorder remix, so that way I can I can make it look like I'm playing the flute with my asshole, and then I put a little chocolate pudding and corn to my lips, so it looks like I put the flute right in my lips right after, and then I go, music is delicious, something like that. You're
Delightful.
like, oh, this man might be on the next list.
I can't do that. Like
not?
I can't go there because I feel like once you get older, you can just start doing whatever, and no one can do anything about it.
How much
But at
older
my age,
am
it's
I?
just like, aren't you like 40, dude?
I'm 27.
But like I'm someone, I still gotta go through college and stuff, and they like comb through your stuff. I feel
they
like
don't
even
care
if I
about
was
that.
to make,
Not in Canada anyway. I got into university even though my college application was like written in slang. And I attached several links to YouTube videos. And it was one of the YouTube videos was me talking about how hard it is to jack off 8 times in a day. So I mean I attached that to my fucking application for university and I got in. And I only dropped out because I found psychology so boring. Because it's like, yeah, I know it's cool to learn about the human mind and the psyche, but I don't want to learn about more reasons as to why I'm depressed. I want to learn how to fix my depression. And then it takes like 7 years for you to figure that out. I'm like, I'll just pay for somebody else to do it. It still didn't work, though. I'm still depressed, you fucking assholes. So much for free healthcare.
how is the free healthcare over there? Is it nice?
Not bad.
'Cause,
Depends
like-
where you live. If you live in a big city, sometimes it can be a problem. Like waiting like 3 or 4 hours in the waiting room to see your doctor. And that's for like emergency, by the way. If you're in a small town, like just off the outskirts of a big city, perfectly fine. I go into the hospital all the time. In like 20 seconds, I'm seen by the doctor. It's great. They just write down my phone number, my name, my personal health number. I don't pay a thing. Go in, get checked, get my meds, and I leave.
I guess that sounds nice. I don't know. I was always thinking you would be like busy
Nah.
and stuff.
Well, big cities, yes. Small towns, no. Small towns, it's great. Big cities, not so much. But how much? Okay, here's a question, because we still have to pay for ambulance rides. How much do you guys have to pay for an ambulance ride?
I don't know, a couple grand probably.
shit.
I've never taken one, so we'll see.
But that's pretty
I've-
consistent from what I've heard, because I've heard a couple people say 1,500. I've heard a couple people say 35. So I guess that makes sense for it to be in the middle at, like, let's say 2. Here in Canada, it's $100.
pretty good.
And like it literally in the rest of the world, it's kind of the same. America's well, actually, Osmodeus, before I go into my rant about American healthcare, Osmodeus just said Jimothy be like 8 times a day. He was 16 only 2 years ago. For the jacking off. Makes sense. It depends if you have or don't have healthcare. That's true. If you don't have healthcare, like if you're too poor, it could be like $30,000. Fuck America, get your shit
Depends on what you're
together.
doing.
Okay.
It's the insurance companies, man.
It's not even that.
It's just like
It's not even that. If Canada can figure out how to make socialist healthcare, then any country can. Like all they have to do is scale it up 10 times to what you guys have. That's all it is. We're 1/10 of your country in terms of population. Scaling is easy. All they have to do is steal our plan and mathematically change it. That's all. Literally dying or being in medical debt. I have been in that position. Yeah, see, that makes no sense to me. And this is why I stand by the what I say about America being the only first world country to have third world values. Because they don't give a fuck about you if they can't make $1 off you. And that's the same thing about American government, healthcare, anything revolving around government funding. Like if they took let's say they took 100 billion away from you, the military, right? They would still be the most funded military in the world for whatever reason. I don't fucking know, other than the fact that they need to make Smith and Wesson more rich. But they could take 10% of their military bill and put it towards healthcare. There you go. You've just covered 100 million people for the next year. How hard is that? It's not hard. But America's like, we need our guns, we need our protection from the Mexicans, we need our protection from people that aren't the same shade of white as us. And Canada's scary. We need our protection from Canada. Canada's going to invade. We need to build a wall in Canada. It's like, all right, yeah, if you think so, but I doubt that'll be ever happening. So why are you spending so much money? Like, what has happened in the last 10 years other than the Gulf War? I think the Gulf War even ended before the last 10 years have been up. But what has happened in the last 10 years that required over, like, I think it was, what, $4 trillion in spending for just the U.S. military? Is it Viagra?
We have been at war for like 20 years. That's something
Isn't
like,
that war
everyone
done?
forgets about.
Like, the thing is
No.
that war is done. Like, the war is done. The battles are still going, but the war is over. We took their oil like you guys took their decade. I mean, you guys took their oil a decade ago. There's no reason to continue that fight in the Gulf. If anything, we're just selling weapons. Or, sorry, I keep associating myself with America here. Oh my God, what am I? Some kind of cultural appropriationist? Oh, sorry, SJW. I've had a little too much to drink. My inner self is coming out. But, like, I've never understood the idea of needing that much funding. Like, China is the second biggest military out there, and their military is 1/4 funded. The same, like, they use 1/4 of the fund. I think it's actually less than that. I think it might have been 1/10 of the funding that the U.S. puts into their military. And I know they're like, I know they try to offset it as like, oh, we need it for protection and freedom. We have these people fighting for your lives. But then what are the point of all those military weapons deals? What are the point of selling all of your weapons to other countries, the missiles, the vehicles, and all the things you manufacture if it's not going to go back into the pool that you're using to fund the military? Isn't that the whole point of the military? Is you create those guns, you sell them, you profit, you pay, and then you just keep it going like capitalism? But no, it's like they pay for these guns, they sell the guns, then they pocket the money, and then they pay again out of the taxpayer's pocket. It makes no sense to me. I'm very curious as to how that breaks down. And literally, if they just decided to reduce the fund, not even like completely cancel the funding, if they just reduced it by like 20%, everybody in America could have healthcare, just like Canada. And you would all live a little bit longer.
Yeah. I don't know. All I know, it feels like every time someone tries to like remove funding, it just kind of starts falling apart, and it's just like, wait, why can't you buy parts again? You have all these other billions of dollars, and it's like, I don't know, but planes are falling out of the sky. That's all I'm saying. So I don't know how they're spending the money.
But that's where the politics comes into play, because they're always attaching bills to other bills without telling you what those bills are to get them passed. So why don't they just do the same thing with government funding? Why wouldn't they just pass a bill under a bill to get funding for it? Like they tried to do that with the COVID bill. They tried to make it so that that bill was attached to another bill that gave hundreds of billions to other countries. And that's why it didn't pass right away, because Trump was like, nah, I don't want to give our money to other people. No, this is for our people. And then everybody's like, why are you giving $400 billion to the Middle East for something that we don't want them to have? Give us the money, put it towards us, take care of us. We're all dying here. Like the only other country to have as bad of a COVID rate is India. And half of their areas in India are very prone to dysentery. Can you say the same thing about America? No. Like there's a lot of places in India that are so primitive that, yes, they probably still have the plague in certain areas. Like I know China does. China still has the Black Plague in certain small villages because they're not willing to inoculate them. Did you not know that? They have like 8 different types of the Black Plague that's spread around China in small villages that they keep an eye on.
No.
And no, this isn't an Alex Jones thing.
Why don't they just remove the village?
Well, because they're Chinese.
I feel like they've done a lot more for a lot less.
They'll only do that
Just
to
wipe
people
it
that are
away.
different. Like China's fucked. That's why that's why they're doing so many awful things to the I hate trying to pronounce this, but the Uyghurs? Uyghurs. That's
I don't know if that's how to pronounce it.
you know what? I don't know how to pronounce it, but like they're literally going full Nazi on the Uyghurs. Like they put them in trains, they take them to death camps, they either shoot them or gas them or kill them. And it's a mass genocide. And the world's just like, yeah, we're not going to stop them. It's China. They make our toilet paper cheap. It's like, oh, all right. So if the Nazis decided to just kill the Jews, but then make the toilet paper cheap, you would have been okay with it? It's like, no, it's a double standard. Why aren't you like actually, going and stopping China because China fucking sucks? Not Chinese people. I always have to clarify because I know there's going to be one Chinese dude out there that's like, I don't suck. It's like, no, you don't suck, but China does. The country of China sucks so much dick that I'm pretty sure me saying that is going to get me assassinated one day. President Winnie the Pooh is going to fuck my ass.
Yeah, it's a shame. I just don't like I feel like you could say I don't like China without saying I don't like Chinese people.
Oh, I love
it's
Chinese
like
people.
it's a messed up government, but it's like I have no problem with the average Chinese person, much less someone who's just the Chinese race.
Exactly.
It's like,
See,
I don't know why people can't get that across. Or at least here in the US, evidently there's been like a lot more Asian hate crimes. And
I disagree with that. The thing is, okay, sorry, let me just
disagree
back
that there
up.
have been more?
I disagree that there's been more. What I agree with is that they're more visible because more people are paying attention. It was the same thing with racism. Remember Morgan Freeman back in the 90s? He was asked a question about racism in America, and he said, it's not that racism is getting worse, it's that it's becoming more visible. The more cameras that are put up, the more likely you are to see it. So it's not that it's increased, it's just that you're seeing it more frequently. And that's the same thing about Asian hate crimes. I guarantee you that same guy who bashed the heads of the two Asian women with the cinder block, he probably would have still done the exact same thing with or without Trump, with or without COVID, because he's a fucking racist cunt. COVID doesn't happen and then all of a sudden you're just like, yeah, you know what? Today I'm going to be racist. I feel like today is the day I hate Asians. You don't do that. You clearly have a history of hating them before, but this just gives you an excuse to show it. So it's not that the racism is increased, it's just that it's becoming more visible because more and more cameras are put in place. More and more people are willing to act on their inner emotions. Racism hasn't changed. It's always been the same. It's just more people are willing to act on it, or not necessarily act on it, but they're more willing to do it in public versus doing it in private. And next time, Oz, we'll get you on for an American hate speech podcast one day. I'll rename it. I swear, I'll rename it. That's a bad name.
Yeah, I hate talking about politics all the time because like I just don't feel like I know enough about it. Like on the whole spending thing, I feel like there's got to be so much more to it.
There has to be, right?
There's so much stuff where it's like we just look at this and it's like this is just a no-brainer. Just do this. This is so simple, and yet it's like, So I don't know. I think there's complex stuff that even someone who were to study this wouldn't be able to get. So
that's totally true.
You know,
my thing is I just want to know why.
That's fair. That's
like,
true.
That's the thing. Like, if I'm looking at this and the rest of the world is looking at it the same way, why can't America be like, the reason we're not doing this is because of this? Unless it's literally because of why I think it is. And that's just because they want to make sure all the companies are pocketing the money and making billions of dollars out of it, which is probably what it is. What's the easiest way to scam the government than when the president is involved? I mean, if it gets found out, guess who writes the pardon? The president. Like, if you've got the president on your side, you can do whatever you want. So that's why I'm curious as to why, like, this was another reason I brought up that presidents shouldn't be allowed to be presidents after a certain age. And I think that age limit should have been 55, but some people said 60. And I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But I think between 55 and, like, if you're any older than 60, you should not be allowed to run for president because your ideals are behind. You are almost dead anyway. Nobody gives a fuck about if you live through the next 4 years or not. What are you going to offer us that should keep you making $400,000 a year until you die? What should give you the right to have this much power over us when you don't even know what the fuck TikTok is? What makes you think that you have any idea what 95% of your country wants when you were raised with so many silver spoons in your ass, you started to feel like Mr. Hands. Like it doesn't make sense for anybody over the age of 55 to be a president because they don't know what modern people want. Joe Biden was around before color TV was. He was around before fucking tube televisions were a household commodity. And when you're that old, there is no reason that you should be given the power to decide what the modern world wants when you probably still use a flip phone.
Yeah, I say like 65, probably right about there.
I mean, anything's better than 75 to 85-year-old people being like, I know what the youngins want. It's butterscotch. Butterscotch for everybody. Who needs healthcare when you've got grandma and her kisses? Like,
I don't want kisses from Joe Biden, please. Thank you.
So did the 13-year-old that was at that conference, but it happened anyway. Osmodius says, but that's okay, Jimmy. You're young and beautiful, and I'm old and bitter. And as much as I love Bernie, yeah. Oh, right, yes. Yeah, Bernie was pretty woke for... Well, I mean, in fairness, Bernie Sanders became a meme when everybody realized that he looked like Larry David. So I think the fact
and
that...
the chair.
Well, he's
when
related to
in
Larry
his little
David.
chair, these little mittens.
Yeah, well, did you know he's Larry David's cousin, right?
I don't know who Larry David is.
He wrote the Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh. Still know.
You don't know Curb Your Enthusiasm? Search up Curb Your Enthusiasm. You'll know it once you see it. It's a huge meme. Even if you just search up Curb Your Enthusiasm meme.
Oh, this guy. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I know who this is. The man with the teeth.
Yeah.
He has no business having his teeth be that white.
He's looked the exact same for the last 40 years. I'm almost convinced he's a vampire. Because in the 90s, he had white hair and he was balding and he looked just like that. He's going to live
almost
forever.
looks like he's literally wearing a bald cap. Like
I wouldn't be surprised if he was.
Don't want to get too much glare off that.
That bald,
That
beautiful brain of
wish-making
his.
head.
Yeah. Rub it enough times, you'll come in your mouth. I mean, he'll grant you a wish.
Okay. Which is...
to come in my mouth. Bernie, present me with your healthcare plan. Oh, yeah. He turns into Macho Man for a second. Oh, yeah, brother. I got to take a massive shit. So I think I am going to call this podcast for tonight. This is going to be the best way to send it off. I got to take a doogie.
I'll come back anytime you want. This was a blast.
This was a great time. 3 hours.
Thoroughly.
Holy shit.
Dude, it doesn't even feel... Usually, I'll be banging out a stream of 3 hours by the time I am so cooked. I have more energy than ever. I'm going to go run 3 miles.
Nice. See,
Right
tell Maximum you're going to do all the curls that they ever wanted. But yeah, no, that was great. I'll definitely have you on again for sure. I guess I might as well do my sign off and I will see you all next Tuesday. Bye guys.